Alright, so this is Lpearly Pokemon Trainer matchup chart. I did like a little version of this yesterday, but I didn't really like the footage while I was making the chart, so I figured I would just go back and go over it, kind of give my thoughts on it. I thought it would make for a more interesting video, basically. I did post this on Twitter, and a lot of people had kind of thoughts about it, so I'll go over that as well. I feel like I should start from the top. I feel like it would make more sense to start from the top. Yeah. Another thing I will add is that this matchup chart, I put it really good, good, mid, bad, and really bad, just for accessibility for people who don't really know Smash technical terms as much. But if you're a nerd, just think of this as like -2 or +2, +1, even, -1, -2. So I will start out with all the characters that Pokemon Trainer messes up really bad. I guess I could also probably put, technically they're different characters, so I'll put them up here. So Little Mac and Ganondorf, I'll get to Mewtwo later. Little Mac and Ganondorf, they both kind of have like the same issue where they just get edge guarded really bad by Pokemon Trainer. Little Mac, you can genuinely just Charizard Flamethrower off the side of the stage and he'll lose verticality, so he'll lose height if you hit him with Flamethrower while he's trying to recover. As well as like if you pretty much hit him and Ganondorf, you pretty much hit him off stage once or twice, and especially if he doesn't have his jump, he's absolutely cooked. Maybe you could put Ganondorf in good. Maybe he could go into -1 if you're a really good Ganondorf. You can genuinely kill Pokemon Trainer in like two hits, like 2 smash attacks. But yeah, Little Mac and Ganondorf both have really bad recoveries, and that's also why the Belmonts are there as well. I'm actually gonna move Rosalina over to Mewtwo because she's more of the same category as Mewtwo. Ganondorf and Little Mac both have really bad recoveries, and I think Pokemon Trainer has such strong edge guard. Sorry, there's major things going on in the dog cam right now. Little Mac and Ganondorf, they can do it. They just can't get edge guarded at all. And in a game where, you know, that's a huge part of the gameplay, I think it's easier said than done to not get edge guarded by Pokemon Trainer. Yeah, Little Mac and Ganondorf, it's like ultimate. It's like an ultimate thing where they can make stuff happen, but other people can also make stuff happen to them. Like Ganondorf and Little Mac against Pokemon Trainer is like, yeah, you can win games, but you have to play around Water Gun, because Squirtle can Water Gun Ganondorf and Little Mac off stage, basically not lose anything, still get stuff set up on like Ledge Trap and stuff. It's very hard. It can be very hard for Little Mac and Ganondorf, but they can still make it happen. That's the thing about Ultimate, is that even the low tiers, even the bum-ass characters, they can still make it happen. You just kind of have to be better than your opponent sometimes, which isn't always, it's very often not feasible, and it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be relying on being better than your opponent to win anyways. You should be relying on, you know, like knowledge and other stuff, and not just pure like skill, basically. But yeah, I feel like I've kind of said enough about Little Mac and Ganondorf. Unless the class has any questions, I can talk a little bit more on that. But yeah, they both kind of fall into the same category of like they can make it happen, but they just get fucked up off stage really bad. Same with Belmonts, kind of. Belmonts, maybe. I think Belmonts obviously are better characters than Little Mac and Ganondorf, but it's really hard. It's really hard for Belmonts specifically to deal with Squirtle. Like, unironically, Squirtle does neutral air on Belmont. Squirtle does neutral air on Belmont coming back to stage, and Belmont is just dead. Even if you have a jump, I'm pretty sure you're just dead. But yeah, Squirtle is tiny. Squirtle is very, very tiny. Like, honestly, you just play Squirtle that whole matchup, And yeah, the other two Pokemon have really good tools against Belmonts as well. I didn't really cover like all the in-depth Pokemon matchups against Little Mac and Ganondorf. Even though I think all the Pokemon win against Little Mac and Ganondorf, I don't think any Pokemon has a bad matchup against Little Mac and Ganondorf, which is why they're so high as well. They're bad characters, and all the Pokemon characters do well against them. So that's why they're in the really good for Pokemon Trainer category. I'd say that's like a +2, honestly. Rosalina and Mewtwo are kind of in a different boat. I guess I should have started with them because they're at the beginning of the tier list. This isn't ordered in any way. This isn't ordered in any way at all, so don't look too deeply into it because it is genuinely not ordered at all. I probably could have ordered a little bit, but I don't care. Maybe it's ordered a little bit towards the bottom, but not really. Mewtwo and Rosalina, they just don't have good options against Pokemon Trainer. Like, you have to better player Pokemon Trainer to beat them as Mewtwo or Rosalina. Just because if Rosalina or Mewtwo don't get some kind of outplay, if they don't pull something off to where they can get a stock on Pokemon Trainer, both of them are just gonna die to Ivysaur or Charizard around like 90 to 100%. Like, Charizard can get... Any light character has a very bad matchup against Charizard because Charizard, essentially, you can rack up a lot of damage as Squirtle or Ivysaur and switch to Charizard, and Charizard can get a lot of stray kills in neutral without having like a setup or anything, just based off of like his kill throws, like forward tilt, like back air. Charizard has a lot of good options to kill just through stray hits in neutral as opposed to like setups or something, and the light characters definitely get shafted by that a lot worse than other characters. So that's why Mewtwo and Rosalina are in the really good for Pokemon Trainer section, because I don't think they have a lot of good tools to deal with Pokemon Trainer's stuff, and Pokemon Trainer in response has a lot of good options to deal with them. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think Mewtwo or I don't know. Everybody in really good tier is all of Pokemon Trainers, like the +2s. They're kind of all really bad matchups, honestly, or not bad matchups. They're kind of bad characters. They're really good matchups because they're really bad characters. I think every character that's in the really good section, I think that character sucks. But characters who suck can still make it work in Ultimate, which is the thing. Pokemon Trainer is like A tier, B tier character. Pokemon Trainer is, like I always say, Pokemon Trainer is 3 mid tiers in a trench coat trying to sneak into top tier. So don't let me discourage you. The only reason Marth is in the really good tier is because Marth's inability to kill Charizard is genuinely comical. Like, it's fucking really... It would be funny if it weren't so sad. The way Marth just cannot kill Charizard. Unless, if Charizard hugs center stage, it's like genuinely fucking embarrassing. Charizard will live to like 200, 300 every time. Marth needs a tipper to kill Charizard. He absolutely cannot kill Charizard unless you get a tipper. Like, it is bad, bro. It is bad. And that's the only reason Marth is in really good. Lucina is in mid, because I think Lucina does good into Pokemon Trainer. Was giving me shit for it on Twitter, but I think it just has, like, to be frank, an awful mentality and doesn't realize the strength of their character. Because they were arguing a lot of stuff about me that just doesn't make sense to me, honestly. I don't believe telling me that Squirtle beats Lucina, goes even with Ivysaur, and loses to Charizard. That's not true. Squirtle has a lot of really hard... Squirtle has to play around a certain distance to punish a lot of Lucina's stuff, I think. And if Lucina is aware of that, it can be really hard. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'll stick it to Marth right now and just say... Marth still has the same tools as Lucina, but he cannot kill Charizard, and so it kind of just ruins his whole game plan. Because Lucina and Marth, they both have that invincible up B, so it can be really hard for Pokemon Trainer to... It can be really hard for Pokemon Trainer to gimp either of those characters off stage. And I think that's where Pokemon Trainer gets a lot of their stocks, is by gimping people off stage or two-framing them with down air or something like that. And that could be pretty difficult to get consistently against Lucina and Marth. So that's why Lucina is in mid and Marth is in really good for Pokemon Trainer, because I genuinely think it is that big of a difference where Marth can, like I said, it's fucking comical how much Marth cannot kill Pokemon Trainer, or cannot kill Charizard up to a certain point. Like I said, it would be funny if it wasn't so sad. Ugh. A lot of these are gonna kind of blend together, but I'll try and differentiate them as best I can. DK could honestly probably go in +2 for Pokemon Trainer, but I think DK has good enough options. DK has a strong enough advantage state to where I don't feel like it's entirely an uphill battle against Pokemon Trainer. I think that, yeah, DK's recovery is like very exploitable. If DK is in a certain position off stage as Pokemon Trainer, it's very, very easy to gimp him. So I do think Pokemon Trainer has a lot of good options against DK, but I think DK also has a lot of good options against Pokemon Trainer, and you can definitely make it happen as DK against Pokemon Trainer. I've lost to DK before, so I used to think it was like hopeless, but I've played a lot of good DKs, and I've, you know, came to the light. Duck Hunt, I haven't played a lot of Duck Hunt, honestly. I'm going to go with good slight PT advantage, because from what I have played, I think Ivysaur does a good job of punishing Duck Hunt's recovery. That up B is really slow, but I also think that it can be really hard for Pokemon Trainer to get through. I think it can be hard for Pokemon Trainer to get through Duck Hunt's projectile setups. And Duck Hunt is just a weird character. You can get away with a lot of weird stuff because of matchup unfamiliarity. He's a very uncommon character. So, yeah, maybe it's mid. Maybe Duck Hunt could honestly... I don't think he's in -2. Or I don't think he's in +2 for Pokemon Trainer. I think he's really solid. But I haven't played against him a lot. So I kind of just want to say Pokemon Trainer's slight advantage, because he's kind of on the lighter side of things. And it's not extremely difficult for him to get through a lot of projectiles and stuff, like he can for some of the other harder matchups, like Min Min and Young Link. Even though I have Min Min in mid, which I'll probably talk about that when I get there. Lucario, nobody plays this character, bro. Honestly, Lucario could probably go in +2 for Pokemon Trainer, but I'm not confident enough in the matchup to put him there. I've only played a Lucario in tournament like once, and he was a Lucario one-trick, and he absolutely whooped me. But yeah, Lucario, don't have a lot to say about Lucario besides that was my main in Brawl when I was like 10 years old, and I did not play him in this game because he kind of sucks. So shout out to everybody that stuck with Lucario, because my ass did not. King K. Rool is a weird one because Pokemon Trainer wins. I think Pokemon Trainer definitely has a very solid advantage, but you have to hit Ivysaur down air so many times in a row. If you want to, you either have to sweet spot or you have to hit the soft spot so many times in a row. And yeah, it's a huge move. I don't know, any matchup that requires like a very high execution barrier, I'm gonna put as bad, just because that level of consistency that's required generally isn't required on the part of the other character. So that does play a part in my thought process as well. But yeah, King K. Rool, Squirtle does really good. Ivysaur does really good. Charizard does not great, I think, against K. Rool, but he can still make it work. Not a lot else to say. It's more just K-Rool has decent projectiles. I was gonna say projectiles in general are a really tough battle for PT. But I don't think K-Rool's it's more of his armor and other stuff that's really tough for Pokemon Trainer to deal with. So yeah, that's why he is in a +1 slight PT advantage. Pichu and Pikachu are. I'll talk a little bit about both of them here. So Pichu, he's basically worse Pikachu. He's slightly, I mean, he's like slightly better in some areas, but to be frank, he's worse Pikachu. Let's be real here. Pichu is worse Pikachu. And the thing about the Pikachu matchup is that you will you will die early to Pikachu a lot, but you can also kill Pikachu very early with like Charizard and stuff. Like Flare Blitz or like a back air can kill Pikachu at like 80, 90, and Pichu is even worse. The only trade-off is that Charizard can also get jab locked forward smashed at like 70 and die, which there are very few characters who can kill Charizard center stage at like 70. So that is genuinely the only reason Pichu is not in +2, is because Pichu is a glass cannon who actually has a cannon. Mewtwo is just glass, and he's not even like sharp when you break him. He's like fucking... Mewtwo is like breakaway glass. He has nothing to defend himself with. Pichu is like a glass bottle that you like busted open on the table in the middle of a bar fight. He actually will stab you. He's very dangerous. But he dies very easily. So, like genuinely very, very early. Like to a what would even be the word? Like Pichu dies very, very early. To like a ridiculous degree. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. But yeah, that's why Pichu is that high as well. Bayonetta, kind of the same boat as Pichu, honestly, except she doesn't kill as early. Bayonetta has very limited kill options. She's pretty much... Bayonetta is really good at racking up damage, but she's only ever going to kill you with her back air, like her forward throw, or one of her smash attacks. So if you play around those, it can be very difficult for Bayonetta to succeed against Pokemon Trainer, I think, because Charizard can kill her a lot earlier. I think Charizard's kill moves are a lot harder to play around than Bayonetta's kill moves. So I think that if you're aware of her win condition and you kind of play around that accordingly, it can be really hard for Bayonetta to take stocks early against Pokemon Trainer. And it's very easy to rack up damage against her with Squirtle. Squirtle and Charizard do really good against Bayonetta. Bayonetta fucks up Ivysaur really, really bad. You basically don't play Ivysaur at all against Bayonetta. But, yeah, that's my opinion on Bayo. So, moving on. Adult Link is... he's the lowest out of all the... Well, I guess he's the same tier as Toon Link. Adult Link is okay. He's kind of combo food for Squirtle, because he's like, you know, adult human-sized. His recovery, even with Bomb, you can kind of dunk him a lot with Ivysaur down air. But he does have sauce, you know. Adult Link, he can do a lot of stuff like punishing your off stage. What you want to do against Pokemon Trainer is punish their off stage a lot, like when Ivysaur is reeling in for Tether. That's where you're going to get most of your kills against Pokemon Trainer, is punishing them off stage. And I think Adult Link is very good at that. He can definitely make it happen if he's creative with his bomb usage. But also he can kind of get messed up by Pokemon Trainer if the guy playing him falls asleep at the wheel. So yeah. Link could probably go in mid tier. He could probably go in even, honestly. He could probably go in even, but I feel like his projectiles aren't strong enough to keep Pokemon Trainer out. They can be, but his Young Link, or Adult Link, is more of like a scrapper, honestly. He's more of like, he's not really as much of like a zoner. So his projectiles kind of, they're more for like getting in and staying in. But, you know, he's okay at what he does. I think he does okay against Pokemon Trainer. There's not really a lot to say. I think there's more to say about the other two Links, like Toon Link and Young Link. Mostly Young Link, because Young Link is a pretty bad matchup for Pokemon Trainer, I think. Ice Climbers. So, Ice Climbers beat Squirtle, but they die really bad to Ivysaur and Charizard. Ice Climbers, man, Ivysaur and Charizard, particularly Charizard, fuck up Ice Climbers really, really bad. Just because of the disjoints and hitting both of the climbers at once. And just like the range on all of Pokemon Trainer's disjoints compared to Ice Climbers. It's really tough for Ice Climbers to deal with Charizard specifically. Specifically just Charizard back air, Charizard forward tilt. I've only played a few Ice Climbers players. but Razor Leaf is also really good because it'll go through their Blizzard, to my knowledge, and it can punish the Ice Climbers. So, yeah, definite tough matchup for Ice Climbers, but doable, I think. Just because they do so bad against Ivysaur and Charizard, I think it's tough for them. I think it's tough. Plus, they're just like perfect. They're perfect size and weight to just get Pokemon Trainer comboed like over and over again. Like, they are absolute combo food. I love playing against Ice Climbers for this reason. It's so satisfying to like separate them. I don't know. Kind of speaking from personal experience here. I haven't played a lot of. Maybe I would put them in even if I had played someone who can do like a lot of the crazy walk off or handoffs and stuff. But for now, I'm going to put them in slight PT advantage just because I think on paper they do pretty well. Kirby, Jigglypuff are kind of in the same boat, honestly. They both do okay against Squirtle, but they really struggle with Ivysaur and Charizard's disjoints. Squirtle, or Kirby in particular, and Jigglypuff for that matter, they both get fucked up real bad by Ivysaur back air. Because it's just, they don't really have an answer to it, because it's got really good range on it. The second hit will follow up into other stuff. Yeah, even if they know that you're going to land on them with a back air, there's not always a lot that Kirby and Jigglypuff can do to punish that back air. So in this game, having an option that you can't deal with even when you're prepared for it is pretty much as good as you can get. So I think Pokemon Trainer having that against those two characters is very good. Another thing that Ice Climbers have a little bit of weight to them, not a lot. They're not really heavy, but Kirby and Jigglypuff are very light, so they die to Charizard very early, which is very good for Pokemon Trainer. So I would say that's a plus for Pokemon Trainer's court as well. Just because, like I said, if you can kill early, it's really good. It's really good. And Charizard kills very early with stuff like F-Tilt and back air. So, yeah, good stuff for Pokemon Trainer. Incineroar and King Dedede, I've kind of lumped all these people in similar categories. Incineroar and King Dedede, they're kind of different. King Dedede, you just have to keep him in disadvantage for genuinely, like, hours straight. Like, maybe not hours, but you know what I mean. Dedede, you have to... You straight up just keep him in ledge, just reset to neutral over and over again until you can kill him. Honestly, Incineroar, I think you can edge guard a lot earlier. Incineroar could maybe go in even. I think just because I've fought a lot of good Incineroars, and it's kind of inflated my opinion of the character maybe a little bit. But also, if you want to just camp out Incineroar, that is also a good option. That will work as well. I just am not near as patient as I think. Once you learn how to play against Incineroar side B, I think it's pretty easy, honestly. I do okay against Incineroar. I think he does okay, like I said. Water Gun just really fucks up Incineroar on his recovery. So that's another reason why he's up there. Dedede, I think he has... I don't think Dedede... Gordo's good if you're not prepared for it. Gordo can really mess you up if you're not prepared for it. But I don't think it's enough to rely on the entire matchup to base your whole game plan around. Because Pokemon Trainer, you can, Gordo's good, but it's not that good. So that's my opinion on Incineroar and Dedede. It's just that they're kind of just generic heavies. Well, maybe not generic, but you know what I mean. They're the heavy archetype, and that doesn't do super well against Pokemon Trainer just because of Squirtle. Squirtle can get a lot of combos on those big heavy characters that lead to a lot of advantageous situations for Pokemon Trainer. So, yeah, pretty good matchups for Pokemon Trainer. Isabelle, she's just kind of a bad character. Isabelle's just kind of a bad character, honestly. I don't really know what else to get into it from that. She's like Villager, but without Bowling Ball, which is something that makes Villager like very good against Pokemon Trainer. because Bowling Ball is really good against Ivysaur, and Bowling Ball is very good against Squirtle. So you take that away, and Isabelle is just a worse version of Villager, who's already like not a great character. So yeah, Isabelle's kind of homeless. She's kind of a bum. To me, Isabelle's even less scary than like a Little Mac or a Ganondorf. Or she's even more scary than like that's what I said. She's less scary. And Isabelle, I think I haven't played a lot of good Isabelles, but she really doesn't do a lot in my opinion. Maybe Isabelle, what's the word? I don't know. Maybe this is a conspiracy against Isabelle. I don't know. I am not an Isabelle believer, so sue me. Piranha Plant. Moving on to Piranha Plant. Yeah, this will be on YouTube. I'm recording this on YouTube. No chat on screen though, so if you say hi YouTube though, I will say hi. I will let them know you said hi. Piranha Plant. Piranha Plant, Piranha Plant does okay against Pokemon Trainer. I think Piranha Plant really struggles against Ivysaur. Particularly, I think Squirtle does okay, and Charizard also does okay. I'm going to check and see if the lighting looks any better with this on. Yeah, I like the lighting a little bit better with that on. Hi, YouTube. Like and subscribe, says Landon. Shout out, Landon. Yeah, Piranha Plant, he doesn't do that well against Pokemon Trainer. I think Patooey can definitely do good against Pokemon Trainer's Recovery. I think that Piranha Plant's Ledge Trap against Pokemon Trainer is very strong. If you have to know how to get around that ledge trap, which is it can be a very tough thing to get around. But Piranha Plant, he up Bs, whether he goes up or down. Piranha Plant, whether he chooses to go up or down on his up B, like low or high, I guess would be the better way to put it. If he goes low or high as Ivysaur, you can still punish Piranha Plant. It's kind of bad, man. Piranha Plant, his disadvantage state against Pokemon Trainer is very bad. His advantage state is really good if you can keep PT on ledge with Patooey. But if Ivysaur or Squirtle gets a few hits in, it can be really bad for Piranha Plant. And Piranha Plant also doesn't have a lot of great tools to deal with Razor Leaf. So Razor Leaf spam can kind of work out against Piranha Plant a lot of the time. Squirtle does okay because he's kind of hard to hit. Charizard, I'd say Charizard does well against Piranha Plant as well. He can kind of do his thing, and there's, Piranha Plant has some options to deal with it, but not a lot. Nothing too particularly crazy. Piranha Plant is like a weirdly capable low tier in this game. He's like a low tier, but he can do a lot of crazy shit. So, kind of strange. But Dark Pit and Pit, basically the same character. The thing with them is I put them as good because I think that and maybe they could go mid, but I feel like it's slightly skewed in PT favor, because Pit and Dark Pit, they get messed up. If you can figure out their offstage recovery, Pokemon Trainer is very good at exploiting their offstage recovery. But they also have a lot of stuff that can make it really hard to get a hold of them. Dark Pit and Pit are they're very slippy. They're very slippery, and sometimes they're really hard to get a hold of. And their projectiles are decent. They can do like a decent keep away game from Pokemon Trainer. They can be very passive or they can be very aggressive. It's kind of hard to tell which one the Pit player is going to be. But, yeah, I think all the Pokemon, Ivysaur, all the Pokemon do okay against Pits. To a certain degree, they all do okay. I wouldn't say they all get... There's not a big wall in that matchup or anything anywhere. There's nothing really holding Pokemon Trainer back like there is in a lot of the matchups lower on the list. So I would say it's slight PT advantage, maybe even because Dark Pit and Pit do have good tools to call out Pokemon Trainer recovery. But I mean, so does every character if you know how someone is going to recover. But But yeah, I do think Pokemon Trainer has maybe slight advantage on paper just because of the edge carding capabilities that Pokemon Trainer has, and the kind of Pit doesn't have like invincibility on his up B. So Pokemon Trainer has a lot of options they can choose to interrupt that up B before it gets to the stage. Same with Sora. That's another thing, is that Sora will get fucked up when he recovers a lot. Same with Wii Fit Trainer, actually. All these characters got something in common. Sora and Wii Fit Trainer will get fucked up when they recover a lot. Sora, I was talking with someone on Twitter, and they were saying that Sora, you know, he does, I forget what they said, but they're saying Sora could probably be even. And I'm like, you know, Sora is even if the Sora actually knows to edge guard Pokemon Trainer. If they actually know, you know, like maybe throw out a Thunder whenever I'm trying to do Tether Cancel or some shit, you know, I could see that being even. But a lot of Sora players will just fall asleep at the wheel and keep throwing out random shit at you until they happen to hit something, or until you can get a kill on them. You know, because Sora will die really easy to Charizard stuff. So a lot of matchups in this list are going to come down to Charizard kills this person very easily with a stray hit when they get to a high percent, which is more than a lot of characters can say. Charizard back air is massive. It's very good for closing stocks like that. But yeah, Charizard does really good against... yeah, Charizard can clutch it up against Sora. Ivysaur does well, and Squirtle does well as well. So, moving on to Wii Fit Trainer. Wii Fit Trainer, I think Pokemon Trainer has a slight advantage, just because Wii Fit Trainer is really light, or, you know, not really light, but she's up there for sure. Deep breathing makes her heavier, it does like something to her fall speed. I don't think it makes her heavier. It makes her fucking moves hit harder. I know that for sure. Which is one thing that it's kind of why she's not in +2 for Pokemon Trainer, is because when she gets deep breathing, she's so strong, she can kill you really early. Like, I've heard somebody say that deep breathing Wii Fit Trainer forward tilt is as strong as like Charizard back air sweet spot, which is totally insane. If you don't know what that means, essentially, it's absolutely insane. Ivysaur fucks up Wii Fit Trainer really bad on account of that recovery, on account of that slow ass recovery. Wii Fit Trainer kind of gets cooked by Ivysaur, especially like if you get a good combo with Squirtle, and then you take her off stage as Squirtle and then switch to Ivysaur sort of mid combo to keep up the pressure, so then you can down air her. That is really effective against Wii Fit Trainer. So, you know, whenever one of your core bread and butter gameplay loop options is really good against a character, that's how you know it's going to be a good matchup. But Wii Fit Trainer does have, like I said, a lot of those tilts can catch you off guard. They can take your stock really early as Squirtle if you're not paying attention. So I do think Wii Fit Trainer can make it happen. Same with Ridley. Ridley has like Ridley is like weirdly floaty and kind of light. So he'll also die to random Pokemon Trainer stuff early if you're not really smart about how you're DIing and stuff. Yeah, it's tough out here for Ridley. But I'm probably going to say this character also has good options about 500 times, so get over that. I've only played Ridley a few times, but the command grab is really strong against Pokemon Trainer, just because sitting in shield as Pokemon Trainer is really strong due to all your really good out of shield options. Ridley's recovery is really bad, so Pokemon Trainer can definitely exploit that. Don't have a lot else to say on Ridley besides that. Ridley, like I said, he's in slight PT advantage because PT definitely has good stuff on paper, but Ridley also has good stuff on paper, like that fuck huge Nair and his up smash and the fact that he's Ridley. I don't know. Ridley's kind of got some stuff going on. I won't lie. Chrom kind of sucks. Chrom gets shit on by Squirtle. He's like Roy, except it's a lot harder to make his up B not go above the ledge. And whenever his up B goes above the ledge, you're just dying instantly to water gun if Squirtle water guns. So it's really tough against Pokemon Trainer to be Roy. It's just not it's not a situation you want to find yourself in. I think most people will switch off of. I said Roy, but I meant Chrom. I think most people will switch off of Chrom if they're in a situation where they have to play Squirtle, because Squirtle is honestly maybe Chrom's worst matchup. So, real tough for him to deal with. Sheik is interesting because I am not a Sheik believer. I do not think Sheik is a good character. I'm going to try not to let my personal bias color my matchup chart, but Charizard can kill Sheik much earlier than Sheik can kill Charizard. So I think that's huge because Charizard can start getting stray kills on Sheik around like 80 or 90. Sheik does not always kill you unless she gets like a cracked kill confirm. Sheik will only kill you probably like 120, 130. So it's a lot easier for Sheik to make stuff happen against Charizard than you might, or just any. She can make stuff happen, but she's probably going to have stuff happen to her before that. So kind of a Sheik hater. Don't want to lay it on too hard. But yeah, I don't believe in this character very much at all. So yeah, I don't believe in this character. So that's why she's not very highly on here. All right, Toon Link. Toon Link is kind of worse Young Link in my opinion. You have to be really smart in particular with Toon Link to win against Pokemon Trainer. I think he does really bad against Squirtle. He does really bad against Ivysaur, and he does really bad against Charizard. So he's like the opposite of Young Link, who does really good against every character. It's funny how like not having as good of an arrow can do such a huge amount of difference. But yeah, I do not find Toon Link to be a good character against Pokemon Trainer. I kind of don't believe in Toon Link, like I said, so that could be coloring my opinion just a little bit here. Yeah. The thing that messes up Bowser Jr. really bad is just jump Razor Leafing as Ivysaur will make it to where the leaf hits his head when he's in the cart. And that'll shut down a lot of Bowser Jr.'s from just mashing on you, which is very good. Dr. Mario kind of sucks as a character as well. I think he's like bottom 5. So, Pokemon Trainer, you just kind of beat up on Dr. Mario, honestly. You kind of just beat him up. Squirtle kind of has trouble boxing Dr. Mario, but Ivysaur does not, and Charizard does not. And Charizard, like I said, Charizard has that up B, which is also pretty bad at beating people up off stage. He'll kind of... He can kind of use that up B to cheese Dr. Mario stocks really early. Gunner and Swordsman just aren't very strong characters. They're kind of good, but they're definitely like a matchup check. I think once you learn how to play around Gunner shenanigans, you can just kind of smoke them. They don't have kind of like the same oppressive coverage as, say, like Min Min or like Samus. On the topic of Min Min, actually, Min Min could maybe go down to bad. Min Min could maybe go down to bad tier instead of mid tough, but can make it happen. Just because I think her execution barrier is a lot low. Like, you can just basically pick up Min Min and start drooling on your character, and you'll probably win against Pokemon Trainer. Just because Pokemon Trainer has a really bad problem with projectiles, and Min Min is basically just the projectile character. So, yeah, no shit. Min Min does really well. But at the same time, her offstage is really bad. And you make like a good play off stage, and you can get a really early stock from Min Min as Pokemon Trainer. So that's the thing that makes it doable. Min Min, she does not have a good recovery, and Pokemon Trainer excels at gimping people who have a bad recovery. So, do 2 and 2. Y'all put the math together on that one. Game & Watch. So, Game & Watch is in mid, tough, but can make it happen. Honestly, the top tiers that are in this tier, I honestly think Pokemon Trainer has a good matchup against them, but I didn't feel confident putting them in the same tier as like all the lower tier characters. Like, saying that Steve is as easy to fight as Donkey Kong and Jigglypuff, I think would be a bit egregious. But Game & Watch and Snake, I think Pokemon Trainer does well enough to put them in, a different tier. Game & Watch, I feel Game & Watch's neutral approaches are very limited. Barring exception, obviously that's the skill in a Game & Watch player is making so we're what they want to approach with. They want to land with Nair, they want to land with forward air or something, but they don't let you punish them for it. They're very particulate about that, but some Game & Watches, they don't do that. So you can kill them really easy with Charizard at like 70, 80. Charizard is very good for killing Game & Watch. Game & Watch is the third lightest in the game after Pichu and after Jigglypuff. So yeah, he's very light, dies very early to a lot of Charizard shenanigans. Yeah, bro gets fucked up by Charizard real bad. And Ivysaur. Ivysaur Razor Leaf is a very good option against Game & Watch as well. He can reflect it with Bucket, but he cannot Bucket it at all. So he kind of just reflects it, and then it's not really... He can't really get a lot off of it. But, hey. A deal's a deal, Fuck it. Space Animals. Space Animals all kind of fall into the same boat where you're gonna lose unless you edge guard them. Edge guarding all of them is absolutely necessary. Fox and Falco to a degree, but also Wolf as well. You will need to edge guard all of them, otherwise they're gonna lap you because they pretty much have better damage, a lot of better stuff. They're just hard to beat as Pokemon Trainer unless you're very prepared. I kind of skipped Snake, I just noticed. So Snake, he has Snake is a very strong projectile game, honestly. I think that's something that maybe he's a bit too high on the mid list for. This isn't unordered, but I know people are kind of gonna... I wanted to put the top tiers at sort of the beginning. Snake probably has one of the better matchups out of this tier. I didn't want to make 50 million different tiers. He can set up a ton of grenades, set up lots of grenade, make it very hard for Pokemon Trainer to exist, basically. But once he's in disadvantaged state, he can get really fucked up by Pokemon Trainer very easily. So I think the Snake player has to be very headstrong and keep a lot of their thoughts straight to not get murked off stage by Ivysaur down air or Charizard back air. So I definitely think that's a bit of a skill issue for them as well. That's a bit of a skill barrier, I suppose. Terry, I think Pokemon Trainer does relatively well against Terry. Pokemon Trainer gets fucked up by Go Meter, but if you're smart around Terry, or if he lets you, you can gimp Terry pretty easily with Ivysaur or Charizard if he falls into repeatable recovery patterns. It can be pretty easy to get early stocks on Terry. So I don't necessarily feel he is the best character against Pokemon Trainer. But Pokemon Trainer does have some good tools. Terry's got some good tools to punish Pokemon Trainer stuff as well. So, yeah. For that reason, I'm going to put him in even, just because Pokemon Trainer can make it happen against Terry, but Terry can also make it happen against Pokemon Trainer. Same with Pikachu, really. Y'all watch me play Chris a lot, and his Pikachu wins a lot, but I win sometimes as well. And it's you basically just have to learn how to call out Thunder Jolt. You call out Thunder Jolt, and Pikachu players are cooked, basically. If you can just full hop, neutral air, hit him with the wet noodle Squirtle Nair, do that 20 more times, and then just switch to Charizard for a kill, rinse and repeat. I feel like a lot of people make the mistake of trying to fish for kill confirms as Ivysaur. No, bro, you just switch to Charizard and back air that motherfucker at 95 and kill him. I never got this, like, spend 8 hours in a lab as Ivysaur to get a 0 to death that doesn't even work. Yeah, Pikachu's really good. Pikachu's really good. And he's very solid against Pokemon Trainer as well. At a certain point in time, I might have put Pikachu in, like, the bad category. Might have put him in, like, the bad category. But as time goes on, I've gotten a little bit better at the game. I don't think Pikachu's that tough for Pokemon Trainer. It definitely feels rough, but I think playing it after having played it for so long, really the game with the win condition is to just nickel and dime Pikachu a whole lot. You just nickel and dime Pikachu a whole lot, and then you can get a stray kill with Charizard. So, not too bad with Pikachu. Mario? Mario's even, probably. I don't have a lot to say against Mario. I haven't played a lot of really good Marios in my day. I could imagine Squirtle getting his stocks cheesed really early. I could see Ivysaur getting kind of outboxed by Mario, but I could see Charizard doing really well against Mario. So for lack of conclusive data, I guess we just kind of put him in the mid tier. I think that's definitely one where Mario has to stay on his A game to beat Pokemon Trainer. So maybe slight PT advantage, but I have no idea. Haven't played a lot of Mario, so I really couldn't tell you. I think Pokemon Trainer could definitely have slight advantage, but I don't really know. I almost kind of want to wait. I'll definitely be talking about Steve more as time goes on. Steve, the only reason Steve isn't in slight PT advantage is because I don't necessarily think it's honest to put him up there, because Pokemon Trainer has really good options against Steve. Some of the stuff you can throw out against Steve it's like very unique to Pokemon Trainer. Like Pokemon Trainer can throw out, as Ivysaur, you can throw out Vine Whip straight up, and it'll actually, if you do the right timing, it'll kill Steve off of his anvil. Ivysaur Forward Air outranges a lot of Steve's moves, and so that's a very good move from Ivysaur in this matchup. Very good combo starter. Fair can also kill at Hypersense, but you're not going to be doing that shit against Steve, honestly. Ivysaur does really, really good against Steve. Charizard too, to an extent, but it's mostly just Ivysaur. Mostly because of that back air and the ability to nair whip off stage Steve. Steve is still an S+ character. Steve is still the best character in the game by far, but Pokemon Trainer has good options to fight him. So that's why Steve is in mid, despite being the best character in the game. I do think Pokemon Trainer has a lot of... Pokemon Trainer might be one of Steve's worst matchups, to put it that way. That just kind of shows you how strong this character is that it's one of his worst matchups, and it's kind of even, you know? But, yeah, Steve... I kind of use him as, like, a test for the other top tiers. I think Pokemon Trainer has, like, a relatively decent spread among the top tiers in this game. I think Pokemon Trainer does really well into Game & Watch. I think Pokemon Trainer does well against Snake. I didn't talk a lot about Snake. Maybe I'll talk more about Snake here in a minute. Like, against the top tiers, Pokemon Trainer does okay against Game & Watch, okay against Snake, okay against Steve, and then really bad against a lot of the top tiers, like Samus and Sonic, and, well, Samus isn't a top tier, but Pyramithra and Sonic are really bad. Honestly, I think I'll put Kazuya into bad instead of really bad. I think I'll put Kazuya into -1, maybe even for Kazuya. We'll get to him later. I'll speak on Steve, or not Steve, Snake. I think I talked a little bit about Snake, but Snake, I probably mentioned Ivysaur does really well against Snake because Razor Leaf goes through Grenade. So it's hard for Snake to set up his... But Razor Leaf is also very slow. So Snake can kind of punish Razor Leaf a lot. But Ivysaur down air, very good for punishing Snake recovery. Charizard moves, also very good for punishing Snake recovery. Very good for punishing Snake at a disadvantage. Yeah, Snake has got some stuff against Pokemon Trainer, but Pokemon Trainer has got some stuff to fire back against Snake. I do think it is even, maybe slightly PT favored. I think if the Snake is really good, PT... I think the better player wins in that one, honestly. I think if the Pokemon Trainer is good, Pokemon Trainer will win. If the Snake is better, Snake will win. Compared to something like Samus, where I think somebody who's dog shit at the game can beat somebody who's decent at Pokemon Trainer just by spamming Charge Shot. But we'll get into that later. Moving on to PK Boys, I feel like I've spoken my piece about Snake. Love Metal Gear, hate playing against Snake. Moving on to the PK Boys, Ness and Lucas. I'd say Lucas might be slightly more difficult than Ness, just because Ness, it's kind of easy to stay in his threat range, kind of like hover outside his threat range because of his PK Fire going down. It's a lot easier to stay right where that will sort of hit the ground and not harm you. If he's in the air, it's a lot easier to play around Ness's threat range, in my opinion. So he might be slightly easier than Lucas, because Lucas has that horizontal PK Fire, which can be kind of tough for PT to deal with because they're very slow in the air. But yeah, I think it's pretty even, because Ness, strong character, does have a lot of good options against Pokemon Trainer, but at the same time, Squirtle does very good against Ness. The other two, they're not too great against Ness. Ivysaur kind of gets shit on, and then Charizard does... Charizard also gets kind of shit on. But Squirtle can water gun Ness's recovery, and it's very funny. Squirtle can do a lot of fucked up shit to Ness. So, for that reason, I'm going to call it even. Ness is kind of the same as... Or Lucas is kind of the same as Ness, but he gets camped harder, basically. He gets camped harder than Ness does. And, I don't know. He's got, like, some gimmicks. He's just not as good a character as Ness, I think. I think Ness is just more solid. But Lucas is more tricky, but Ness has more solid stuff. It's just easier to play around. I've also played against a lot more Ness. So, you know. They're right next to each other. It's not like it really matters at this point, but... Isn't Lucas and Ness same playstyle? Yeah, they're very similar, but not the same, basically. Zero Suit? I actually do not like the Zero Suit matchup against Pokemon Trainer, but I don't feel comfortable. I just realized I didn't talk about Sephiroth in good tier. I'll talk about Sephiroth after I talk about Zero Suit. So Zero Suit, I kind of have trouble with Zero Suit, but I feel like it's not that bad for Pokemon Trainer. It maybe could go in bad tier. I definitely wouldn't put Zero Suit in good tier against Pokemon Trainer. Zero Suit is tough because she's basically like a little cone of murder that'll run around the stage and make it difficult for you to hit her. So your best bet against Zero Suit is to throw out a lot of stuff in the air as Squirtle and kind of hope to nickel and dime her enough to get enough damage to get a stray hit as Charizard. Because Zero Suit absolutely fucks up Ivysaur. Zero Suit commits animal cruelty against Ivysaur. It's a very bad matchup for Ivysaur. I would not recommend playing Ivysaur against Zero Suit at all if you can help it. But yeah. Zero Suit is very fast in the air, and Pokemon Trainer is very slow in the air. So, hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. If you can manage to call out some of her landings, then you can get some stuff going. But like I said, she's so tough in the air, you kind of have to guess correctly a few times in a row, which is easier said than done. Zero Suit can also kill you pretty early with her kill confirms, like down smash. You know, flip kick in general will just end a lot of your stocks early. So you got to be really careful against Zero Suit. But she does die really early. She's very light, so you get a few of those Squirtle combos. You get a few of those Squirtle combos started, and she's gonna, yeah, she'll die to Charizard stuff really quickly. Moving on to Sephiroth, because I glazed over Sephiroth, and I don't want to glaze over Sephiroth because he's a weird situation. So Sephiroth, Charizard doesn't do good against Sephiroth, but Squirtle and Ivysaur both do, and Charizard actually does okay. Squirtle and Ivysaur actually both do really well against Sephiroth. I don't really consider Sephiroth to be that good of a character. I think he's kind of mid, so this may color my opinion a little bit. But Squirtle does very good against Sephiroth. A lot of Sephiroth stuff isn't safe on shield against Squirtle. So if Sephiroth isn't doing a good job of mixing up landing on your shield, it can be really it can be really easy for Squirtle to get an advantage against Sephiroth and then kind of push that into like an offstage situation as Ivysaur, because Ivysaur down air can actually trade with Sephiroth up B, which is huge, because that means Ivysaur is, you know, one of the few characters that can actually kill Sephiroth in that situation. So nothing to sneeze at. Charizard is no slouch either. He kind of gets outranged by some of Sephiroth's sword stuff. But also, Charizard can kill Sephiroth very early on account of how light he is. So that, combined with Wing being pretty inconsistent, means I would put Sephiroth in the slight PT advantage. Just because I think if Sephiroth is careless about how he lands on your shield, he can eat a quick 3 Squirtle back airs, and then suddenly he's at 60. He gets punished one more time, suddenly he's at 95. And then, you know, he's at Charizard back air kill percent on certain stages. Yeah. I think Sephiroth, he's got to get a good read on you to take the stock a lot of the time, which is never good. It's never good to be relying on reads that much, you know, as you get higher and higher in skill level. As you get higher and higher in skill level, you never want to be relying on reading your opponent consistently. Like, you want to be able to like read, you know, nobody bats 100. I'll tell you that nobody bats 100. So relying on outplaying your opponent as like a long-term winning strategy just isn't good. It's not good. By the numbers, it's a bad idea, essentially, is the only way I know how to explain it. Anyways, moving back onto the tier list, Banjo-Kazooie is also in mid because Banjo kind of has some good projectiles. He's got some cool stuff going on. But I think that Wonder Wing, I think Banjo's side B, if the Banjo is smart enough to use Wonder Wing when you're recovering, it's very, very hard. A lot of the matchups in this mid yellow right here, it basically boils down to, if you know the matchup, it's a very good. If they know the counterplay, it can be kind of rough. And Banjo's no secret to that. Banjo, if you can manage to stall out his Wonder Wing, then it can be very tough for him to close out kills, especially against Charizard, because Charizard is so heavy. But at the same time, Banjo can kill you at like if you're recovering as Squirtle, that motherfucker can do a Hail Mary and kill you at like 50. And then he's up a stock as Banjo, and when Banjo's up a stock, it gets really scary because of Wonder Wing. Because he can basically just start throwing out Wonder Wing like willy-nilly, and it's really scary. So, yes, fucking Banjo can kill you really early, but also if you... This sounds really stupid, but if Banjo gets a stock lead, he wins. If you get a stock lead against Banjo, you win. So, yeah, seems kind of obvious there, but it's more exacerbated. I'm going to use a big word to sound smart. Hold on, I'll put my glasses on, too, to sound smart. If Banjo exacerbates his lead... Hold on, what's a smart-sounding word? Postmodern. No, I'm fucking around. Yeah, Banjo's in, like, the yellow section, because he's got some stuff, but Pokemon Trainer's got some stuff as well. So that's why he's in the midsection. He's in the abdomen area. He's in the midsection. Peach, I don't know about Peach, man. I haven't played a lot of good Peaches. Like I said, Peach, she's really light. She's very floaty, so she can kind of get fucked up by Ivysaur a lot. Like Ivysaur combos, you know, like Nair, Whip. That'll happen to that can kind of cook Princess Peach a lot. Yeah, Peach, I don't have a lot to say about Peach. She can do some good stuff against Pokemon Trainer. Pokemon Trainer can do some good stuff against her. I think she's light, so she loses to Charizard a lot. She'll die to a lot of Charizard stuff early. But she's got her own sort of bag of tricks that make her difficult to deal with as Pokemon Trainer as well. Like, Peach just forward airing you when you recover as Ivysaur it feels like getting hit in the face with like a wiffle ball bat. So that sucks. But yeah. Could go either way, honestly. That's why it's in the even section. Tough, but can make it happen. That's basically even, you know. I'm assuming, like, in my brain, like, thinking about these matchups, I'm assuming that the other player knows how to play against Pokemon Trainer. So, when they do know how to play against Pokemon Trainer, it can be kind of rough. But if they don't know how to play against Pokemon Trainer, you have a lot of good options that you can use as well. Alternative, like, naming section, I did really good, mid, bad, and really bad. I'm trying to think of the right word here. Normal naming convention for like a Smash matchup chart, this would be like +2, as in Pokemon Trainer will win 7 times out of 10, +1, 6 out of 10, 0, 5 out of 10, -1, 4 out of 10, and then really bad, Pokemon Trainer will win 3 times out of 10. You know, assuming both players are equal skill level, which is a whole box of worms. I'm not even going to get into it because skill is like a very tough thing to measure in Ultimate compared to something like Melee, where your skill is basically based on how many buttons you can press per second. But oh, is Bud Dog crying? Is Bud Dog crying? What are you crying for? What are you crying for, puppy? Can you come here? What are you doing, silly? What are you doing? Come here. Come here, puppy. Come here. What's wrong? What are you doing? Come here. Come here. What do you look? She looks hella guilty. Ugh. Butterdog looks hella guilty in her kennel right now. Where's the Butterdog cam? Where's the Butterdog cam? She looks hella guilty right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, what are you doing, silly? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Let me take your fucking... Let me take this off so I don't dox myself. I gotta take her fucking collar off every time. What are you doing, silly? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Puppy! Puppy! Oh, she's bumping the hell out of the microphone. There you go. Okay, hold on. Could you... Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of yourself bumping the microphone? Okay, I probably... Alright. You stomped it. Stomped it. Oh, she doesn't like it when I touch her toe. What's she doing, huh? What are you doing, huh? Oh my god. Okay. Quit bumping the microphone! Roy. Roy Pokemon Trainer is even. I think Roy Pokemon Trainer is like very even. I used to think it was like definitely PT favored because Squirtle breaks Roy's ankles extremely hard if the Roy isn't prepared for it. If Roy is prepared for it, then it can be kind of tough for Pokemon Trainer to keep holding advantage state. Roy can kill Pokemon Trainer really easy, really early. He can just do Side B, Dancing Blade, whatever, and He can end Squirtle stock really early. He can end stocks early even for like Charizard. Honestly, I think Charizard will start getting beat up by Roy side B and losing the stock at like 90, which is really early as Charizard. If Roy doesn't get like a cheesy kill on you, then you can live like a really long time if you just hug center stage. But I don't think that's like consistent enough to. I wouldn't say that's consistent enough to count on, I guess. I don't know. It is something that you can fall back on, but you can't really count on it, if that makes sense. I kind of talked about Lucina earlier, where somebody on Twitter was trying to tell me that Lucina loses to Pokemon Trainer. Magi, if you're watching this, fucking Lucina does not lose to Pokemon Trainer. Your character's not that bad. She fucks up Squirtle. Lucina fucks up Squirtle bad. If you're not bad, like Squirtle, when you're Lucina and you play against Squirtle, all the Squirtle player is waiting for the Lucina player to do is to throw out something stupid and then get punished for it. So if my only option is to wait for you to fuck up, it's good for you. It's good for you. If I'm waiting for you to fuck up, it's good for you. It's a good matchup. Lucina, yeah. Lucina does good against Pokemon Trainer. Like I was saying, our resident person who doesn't think their character can do anything was telling me Lucina loses. Lucina does not lose to Pokemon Trainer. It's even for sure. Marth does really bad against Pokemon Trainer tier because he fucking cannot kill Charizard at all. Like it's genuinely comical to the it's genuinely comical to the degree that Marth cannot fucking kill Pokemon Trainer. He's like, it's like Butterfingers, bro. It's bad. Like it's bad. Yeah, Lucina's even. Lucina's even for sure. I think Squirtle kind of has trouble getting in against Lucina. Ivysaur does okay getting in on Lucina. Charizard is another sword character. I'd say Lucina goes even with Ivysaur. Beats Squirtle, or at least does really well against Squirtle, and probably goes even with Charizard. I don't think Lucina beats Charizard, or Charizard beats Lucina in any universe. I think that's cap. I think it's cap to say Charizard beats Lucina. Just because you don't know how to kill Charizard, just because you can't kill heavyweights, it does not mean your character loses. Moving on from Lucina, heck yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. Moving on from Lucina, I think Cloud Pokemon Trainer is definitely really even. If you don't know how to fight Cloud, you're gonna feel like you're getting fucked up. If you don't know how to fight Cloud, you're gonna feel like you're getting fucked up by Cloud. But Cloud, you basically just have to wait for him to throw out one of his 3 moves that, you have to wait for Cloud to throw out one of his 3 moves that actually is punishable. Because he has a lot of moves that you just can't punish. But Squirtle is really good at, like, moving around Cloud. And kind of staying in close enough range to punish him. Staying, like, close enough to punish Cloud when he does throw out a stupid move. But also staying kind of far enough away to where you won't get hit by his continental-sized sword. So for that, I'd say it's even. Ivysaur gets fucked up by Cloud, and Charizard pretty much goes even with Cloud, because Flamethrower on ledge is really good against Cloud. Just like Little Mac, you'll lose height if you use it on him while he's recovering. But Cloud, at the same time, his ledge trapping is really good against Pokemon Trainer. Pokemon Trainer has trouble getting off ledge, and Cloud is really good at keeping people on ledge. So you see that's kind of like a little puzzle piece fitting into place there. You really have to play the part of every Pokemon against Cloud. Like, you got to be like the little tiny guy that runs away as Squirtle And then as Charizard, you really gotta like get those big hits that'll end the stocks. Cloud Pokemon Trainer is even, honestly. Yeah, if you're like a good player, you can play around Cloud Limit. I don't really think there's anything that Cloud can do with Limit that's really, really strong against Pokemon Trainer. Obviously, he can, like, cross-slash you while you're recovering as Ivysaur, but I mean, like, pretty much every character in, like, the yellow tier has, like, at least one thing they can do against Pokemon Trainer that's really tough. Once we get down to, like, these lower tiers, like, bad and really bad, is when it gets to, like, it starts to get to, like, oh, they can do, like, a lot of stuff against Pokemon Trainer, and there's, like, not a lot of stuff you can do back. But for now, while we're still in, like, the yellow tier, it's even. It's even. That's what the yellow is, basically. Moving on to Bowser. Bowser Pokemon Trainer is also fucked up, because you basically have to make sure Bowser doesn't get to play the game. It's like a worse version, or it's like a less worse version of fighting Caseoh, where if you want to beat Caseoh, you have to just make sure he absolutely does not get to play the game. And if you want to beat Bowser, you have to do the same, but to a lesser degree. Like, you can get away with not always killing Bowser, but if you don't end a combo, if you don't get a lead on Caseoh, you're gonna regret it, basically, because Caseoh is really tough. But Bowser is tough because Pokemon Trainer, you can win neutral, you can hit Bowser 10 times, and then if you don't take his stock, then you're even, because he can hit you like twice and then just take your stock, and then now you're even. So that's what makes Bowser really tough, is like the war of attrition. You need to like finish your meal, you need to cross your I's and dot your T's against Bowser, which is what makes him really kind of annoying, especially for like newer players who don't always recognize like when they can close out stocks and stuff. So that is why Bowser is even, because sometimes you don't get to play the game against him, and then other times you don't let him play the game. So that's why I put Bowser in tough but can make it happen tier. But yeah, I've spoken my piece on Bowser. He's rough. But he's not too bad, honestly. If this was ordered, I would put him like higher probably. But it's not. This is not ordered at all. Another thing, I don't really think I mentioned Min Min. I didn't really talk a lot about Min Min. I kind of just moved a lot to talking about Game & Watch. Min Min could honestly go up a tier or down a tier, just depending on how good the Min Min is. Because you fight a bad Min Min, and you can just smoke him. You fight a bad Min Min as Pokemon Trainer, you can smoke him so easy. Throw that motherfucker on the grill, bro. It's easy. Not hard at all. But you fight a Min Min who actually knows how to play the game, and it's really, really hard, because they won't let you... The win condition against Min Min as Pokemon Trainer is to get stocks off stage. Like just throw out like some neutral layers or something while they're trying to recover, and it's really, really difficult for Min Min to deal with that unless they're good at the game. So if you're dealing with a Min Min who's like actually good at the game, it's a completely different fucking ballpark than dealing with like an Elite Smash Min Min. So I didn't really touch on her a lot, but she is a weird one. But I'm gonna say, like, worst case scenario, she's mid, but tough can make it happen, because I wouldn't say she's quite as bad as these two tiers down here. Palutena is a weird case as well. Palutena, Squirtle does good against Palutena. Ivysaur gets fucked up, and then Charizard does really good. Not a lot to say beyond that. A good Palutena will make it feel really hard. She'll make it feel like a really hard matchup, just because Palutena is really, really fast. Like, her stats are like really good. She moves like really fast on the ground and in the air, but she dies to Charizard a lot. It's hard for her to hit Squirtle. And Palutena, she can get hit by flare. You can flare blitz through a lot of her projectiles, especially if she's trying to get cheeky with them. You can flare blitz through a lot of Palutena's projectiles. So that's a plus for Pokemon Trainer. If she tries to reflect and she's standing in front of her shit or whatever, she'll you'll just hit her with Flare Blitz. So Palutena, definitely like a 50-50, I would say. I think it can go either way. I think it's one of the more deserving of just being one of the even matchups, honestly. Because she really does have a lot of stuff she can hit you with, but you have a lot of stuff that you can hit her with. I haven't played a lot of high-level matches against Palutena, so, you know, sorry for not having anything deeper to say, anything more in-depth to say about Palutena, but, yeah, whoops, my bad. Pac-Man. I have played against a lot of Pac-Man, though, relatively. I lost against Pac-Man a lot, so I figured out what to do. I lost to like one Pac-Man player like 30 times, and then I don't think I've ever lost to another Pac-Man besides Coyote. So Pac-Man kind of reminds me of like Bayonetta, where he's got one move that will kill you, like one or two moves that will kill you. So you avoid those one or two moves, and you're basically golden. If you can not get hit by Bell, and you can not get hit by Pac-Man forward smash, Charizard will live to 200%, and you can do a lot of nickel and diming onto Pac-Man, because he'll die at like 90, 100 to Charizard stuff, so you can do a lot of nickel and diming against Pac-Man if he's not killing you with like a side B or like a forward smash or some stupid combo in 4 miles into the blast zone. Pac-Man, he's got like an okay projectile game. If you can just avoid fucking Galaga, because the Pac-Man I always would play, he would just Galaga and then get like a 70% combo on me. And then it was like pretty difficult to come back from that because I wasn't really stressing my win condition at the time. Which your win condition against Pac-Man is, like I said, you're not going to kill him on recovery, so you're basically just trying to kill him with like a spare hit as a Charizard. So that's rough for it's rough for Pokemon Trainer, but it's doable. It's rough for Pokemon Trainer, but it's doable for Pac-Man, I would say. Because his recovery's too good. You're just not gonna kill him on recovery with like an Ivysaur down air or something. So, yeah, I feel like I've spoken my truth about. I feel I've spoken my truth about Pac-Man. So I guess we can move on from him. Where Squirtle kind of gets messed up, but Ivysaur and Charizard do well. But Squirtle is like, he's okay against Pac-Man. He's necessary because you kind of need him to rack up some damage before you switch to Ivysaur. But Squirtle and Pac-Man are both kind of stubby, but Pac-Man has like, I don't know. Maybe I was just getting skill diff when I played against Pac-Man, but I feel like Pac-Man has like the better stubby moves, if that makes sense. And he has better projectiles to keep Squirtle out, so that's where I think it's really tough for Squirtle, is to get past the projectiles. Is Yoshi really that bad? Yeah, Yoshi's really bad. I'll talk about it more when I get to Yoshi, but the big issue with Yoshi is that he can throw out moves. He can throw out moves that have no lag that will lead to a kill, and I have to basically stick my neck out to try and kill Yoshi. Is basically the thing that makes Yoshi really, really tough to fight against, is he has lots of very low commitment options that he can throw out, and Pokemon Trainer can't really say the same. Yoshi has lots of fucking, like I said, very low commitment options that he can throw out that'll lead to him winning the game, and Pokemon Trainer can't really say the same. So yeah, but I'll get more to Yoshi once I get down to him. We still have like a lot of characters to go through before Yoshi. I'm glad I started this with like characters Pokemon Trainer does really good with, and then characters Pokemon Trainer does really bad with, because I think that was a lot. I think it'll make for a lot better YouTube video, because I'm probably gonna cut this up and put it on YouTube. I think that'll make for a lot better video flow than to go bottom up, than to go Yeah, it makes more sense to go top bottom than bottom top. Captain Falcon. Honestly, Captain Falcon's alright. I would definitely put him in mid as well. Like mid tier, like even with Pokemon Trainer. Just because Squirtle, Captain Falcon can kind of have a tough time dealing with Squirtle, just because Squirtle's very small, can kind of run under a lot of his stuff, won't really get hit by a lot of his stuff as well. It's kind of tough to hit those knees randomly against Squirtle. But, you know, Captain Falcon, he's a simple character for the most part. He's relatively simple. He can kind of retool his game plan to play around Squirtle's strengths and weaknesses, and same with all the other Pokemon. I do think Pokemon Trainer has like good tools against him, but I do think Pokemon Trainer has good tools against Falcon. Falcon also has good tools against Pokemon Trainer. I don't know, like Neutral Air 1 combos are really good against Pokemon Trainer. I don't know. Falcon's recovery is pretty easy to exploit. He can also get water gunned. So maybe on like the easier end of this mid tier, I'd say he's definitely... Captain Falcon is probably easier to fight against than Bowser. At least I like fighting against him more than Bowser. I don't know about that, honestly. Because Pokemon Trainer loves to sit and shield, and Captain Falcon can up B your shield just really easily. So that's not good for PT. Yeah, I've spoken my piece on Captain Falcon. Zelda? Zelda actually does like weirdly good against Pokemon Trainer. It's kind of strange. So Zelda, her lightning kick, Zelda can steal stocks against Pokemon Trainer like really early, and you know, the same could be said for the whole cast, but you know, sometimes you don't switch off Squirtle in time and you die criminally early as Pokemon Trainer. So that is something that Zelda can be really good at. If you let Zelda set up her little like zone, it could be pretty hard to get in as Pokemon Trainer. But also Zelda genuinely cannot use Phantom in front of... If Zelda is in front of her Phantom at all, you can just Flare Blitz her as Charizard. Squirtle and Ivysaur don't do very good against Zelda, but Charizard does very good against Zelda. So this is one of those matchups where you just want to switch to Charizard at like 70, in my opinion, and just start throwing out Charizard moves. But yeah, Zelda, it's tough to punish her recovery. It can be kind of difficult to get a kill on her if she's being really sneaky, but she's very light, so when you do hit her, she'll die very early. So that's kind of the upside of playing against Zelda. Is she's a tough cookie to catch, but once you catch her, it's pretty much over because her disadvantage is really bad. So, you know, that's that. Hero, I think Pokemon Trainer does good against Hero, honestly. Not good enough to put in... Maybe you could put him in slight PT advantage. Maybe he could go up a tier. But his level 2 side B is really good. Hero can just kind of pull some shit out of the bag. Pokemon Trainer is an honest, air quotes, honest character. So sometimes hero bullshit will just prevail, especially if you're fighting like a very creative hero player. I do think the character has kind of the options to fuck Pokemon Trainer up. So that's something you want to keep in mind. I haven't played against a lot of really good heroes, you know, haven't played against Beast Mode Paul. So, don't exactly have like the world-class hero Pokemon Trainer experience in my back pocket, but I know you can fucking Ivysaur down air his recovery. Ivysaur does really good against edgeguarding hero. Like, you can just absolutely deplete his whole mana bar if you get a cracked edgeguard with Ivysaur. So I think I'd say it's even, just because sometimes you can have trouble getting in as Pokemon Trainer. Because Hero does have like really slow aerials. He's like his attacks are really slow, but they're pretty big, and he can normally get like a follow up off of them. So if he does hit you, it hurts really bad. Joker. Okay. So moving on to... Oh wait, we skipped Byleth. Okay. Can't skip over Byleth. I like how we put the two MKLeo characters right next to each other. Byleth. I think I think Pokemon Trainer does okay. I think Pokemon Trainer does okay against Byleth. It's one of those definitely mid for both characters. Because it can be really tough for Squirtle to deal with Byleth. But Byleth, Byleth can adapt and start putting the moves on Pokemon Trainer. The tether recovery on Byleth is, it's pretty good. It's not as exploitable as something like Ivysaur. I think Byleth's tether might be a little bit better. Plus, you can always tether off stage and kill Pokemon Trainer, which is really big because it kind of makes you hesitant to go for off stage stuff against Byleth if they can just tether you and then dunk you and then also get back to stage for free off of that. So that is really tough to play against Byleth. But I think Pokemon Trainer does well enough against them that it's not worth putting them up or down a tier at all. I think Charizard can do really well against Byleth as well. Charizard can pretty much... Charizard has back air, which can really fuck up Byleth. It's a really good aerial that has good range, and, Byleth likes to land a lot with those landing aerials. So Charizard back air, definitely a clutch up in that matchup. And F-tilt, Charizard, and you can just forward air Byleth when he's reeling in for recovery, if they're not prepared for it. So kind of a call out that you can use that's really good against Byleth if they're not expecting it. Same with like a Charizard neutral air or even an Ivysaur neutral air. There's a lot of stuff you can do to call out Byleth's recovery. And I think just the neutral hitbox versus hitbox aspect of the matchup isn't that bad at all. I think there's definitely a lot you can do. So, for that reason, Byleth is in the mid tough but can make it section. Mid tough but can make it happen section. So, yeah. Moving on to Joker, the other MKLeo character. They're right next to each other. They're kissing. Anyways, Joker does pretty good against Pokemon Trainer, but Pokemon Trainer can make it work against him. Joker, it's really tough once he gets Arsene, because once Joker gets Arsene, I mean, you can say that that's not unique to Pokemon Trainer. Obviously, Joker's a way better character when he gets Arsene. But the thing that makes Joker really tough when he gets Arsene is Pokemon Trainer's recovery is kind of exploitable. If you're not mixing it up, you're going to be in the same spots a lot. You're going to be, going to the same spot on the stage over and over again. And Joker can throw out like an Arsene powered up back air and just end your whole fucking career, basically. He can just end your career. So that's tough to deal with as Pokemon Trainer. You can kind of lose stocks really early if Joker gets Arsene. But at the same time, Joker recovery, when he has Arsene and when he doesn't have Arsene, it can be kind of exploitable as well. You can kind of hit him with it as well. At the same time, I think a lot of Jokers love to land with landing aerials, and it's very easy to just backdash and move out of the way of that as Squirtle, and then get a punish off of that with like sliding F-tilt or dash attack, or even a side B. Side B is really good for calling out people who love to fucking land with aerials over and over again. Land with aerials or do like an empty aerial. I use that a lot against sword characters that love to throw out aerials, or characters that love to land stupidly a lot, like Joker. Withdraw is really good for that. Like Shulk does a lot of that as well, so you can get away with throwing out Withdraw a lot against Shulk, or people who are dashing in a lot, because in Ultimate you actually you can't shield immediately out of dash. So if you can catch people who are just dashing in a lot, then you can get like a free Squirtle side B. The sound effect makes you feel really stupid when you get hit by it, so that's a nice mental debuff. Yeah, Joker, tough to deal with Arsene, but Pokemon Trainer has a lot of good options against non-Arsene and Arsene Joker. So, good stuff. Not too bad for Pokemon Trainer, not too bad for Joker. Very even matchup, as I would say. Shulk, haven't played a lot of high-level Shulks, but this is kind of a rough one for Pokemon Trainer. Squirtle is like your main player. I think Ivysaur and Charizard do okay. I think they do okay. Shulk has like fucking Pokemon Trainer's kind of slow in the air, and Shulk has massive sword buttons. Shulk's sword buttons are fucking huge, like continental, like zip code to zip code type shit. So that can be pretty difficult to deal with as Pokemon Trainer. If you can kind of get a handle on the Shulk's playstyle, yeah, you can get a hold of it. Monado arts are also pretty difficult to deal with, but I think Pokemon Trainer has enough. You have like those moves as Pokemon Trainer that have like very large hitboxes, like Charizard Neutral Air, like the Ivysaur Nair. Those are really good, like Squirtle Nair even. Those are really good for covering like a lot of space whenever Shulk is using like Jump or something. You know, like Speed Art or Jump where he's flying all over the screen and you kind of just want to like clothesline him as he's driving by. All of the Pokemon's Neutral Airs are really good for that. So, but Shulk can also get kills really, really early with Smash Art. So that is something you have to be very careful about. That's something you have to be really, really careful about. Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done with the tier list, you guys. Don't worry. Luigi's not bad, honestly. Luigi could maybe go to slight PT advantage, but Luigi can just get the 0 to death on you so easy that I don't feel comfortable giving him that much credit as like a bad character. Because if you land wrong on Luigi's shield, you're just dead, man. You are just getting upbeat. Like you're just getting upbeat like instantly if you land on Luigi's shield wrong, which is really tough. But Pokemon Trainer can punish his recovery really well. So for that, you know, Luigi is in even. You know, you can try to avoid getting 0 to death by Luigi. Not always possible, unfortunately. You know, he can get you with grabs, or he can, you know, 0 to death you with rising aerials, which was new to me. I didn't realize Luigi players had figured out how to 0 to death off a rising aerial. But you know, that's good for them. But I am going to put Luigi pretty comfortably in the mid section because Luigi's recovery is so bad. Like, it's genuinely so bad. Like, if you're a Pokemon Trainer player and you see Luigi down B off stage, fucking dunk that motherfucker. Literally the freest Ivysaur down air in the world to just go down, save your double jump, dunk Luigi, double jump back up to stage, get your free stock. Generally the easiest stock in the world. It's freer than free, unless he goes hella low and you can't get back to stage, then it's not really worth it. But, yeah, not too crazy for either side. If you can avoid getting Luigi 0 to death, if you know how to avoid that, then I'd say it's pretty even. The Diddler. Moving on to Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong is a weird one. It's definitely even, because Diddy Kong's got some shit. Like, you know, Diddy Kong, obviously a strong character. I'd say him and Pokemon Trainer are about the same level of strength, actually, and Diddy Kong is, like, rated very highly. I think Pokemon Trainer is honestly underrated on the current tier list. Tweak has even said this. Tweak has even said he considers Diddy to be as strong, or Pokemon Trainer to be as strong as Diddy. But, hashtag justice for Diddy Kong. Yeah, no, Diddy is very strong. Diddy, the biggest things that are relevant with Pokemon Trainer and Diddy Kong are Charizard's flame attacks will detonate Diddy's barrel when he's recovering. So if you flamethrower Diddy while he's coming back to stage, you can cheese a lot of stocks early. But Squirtle and Diddy Kong kind of beats Squirtle on the ground, but it can be kind of hard to deal with Squirtle mashing in the air. From a Diddy Kong's perspective, like if you're throwing out a lot of Nair and waiting for Diddy Kong to drift into you, it can be pretty hard for Diddy Kong to deal with. Yeah, Diddy Kong, Pokemon Trainer. I heard Pokemon Trainer is as strong as Diddy as I was scrolling by. Yeah, that caught your ear. Maybe I ought to just say Diddy instead of Diddy Kong, get the people scrolling through. Yeah, no, I'm doing like a how good every character does against Pokemon Trainer. And I'm close to the end, so, you know. But yeah, Diddy Kong, he's got some good stuff against Pokemon Trainer. His disjoints, His Diddy hands are kind of hard to deal with as Squirtle sometimes. Like I said, I think Diddy Kong beats Squirtle on the ground, but in the air, it's kind of hard to deal with. It's kind of hard to deal with. It's kind of hard to deal with Squirtle in the air from a Diddy Kong perspective. But Diddy Kong also has like banana combos where he can get like really consistent kills on you at like early percents, which is big because that prevents you from living to like 200 as Charizard and getting like a huge lead. So, yeah, Diddy Kong even for sure. Tough, but you can make it happen. Diddy Kong's got some stuff he can use on you, but Pokemon Trainer's also got some stuff he can use on Diddy Kong. So, moving on from the funny Diddy guy. Corrin, I haven't played against a lot of Corrin. Honestly, I could maybe move Corrin up into slight PT advantage. Just because Corrin's recovery is really bad. And Ivysaur can exploit it really hard. But I think Corrin has enough fuck huge sword moves that if you kind of play your position from Corrin and wall Pokemon Trainer out a lot with those sword moves, I think Corrin can make it happen, basically, is what I'm saying. So I don't want to diss too hard on Corrin. I'm sitting like L from Death Note right now. I don't want to diss too hard on Corrin because I think the character's kind of mid, but like top players have kind of proved that you could make Corrin work. So I personally don't think the character is that good. I think the characters are just good. I don't think Corrin is a good character. I think Neo and Shattuck are just very good players. So I could maybe move Corrin up, but I'm going to keep her in mid just because Corrin's got some tricks like the chainsaw forward smash that if it hits your shield, you have to like shield SDI or do some crazy shit to get out of Corrin's thing. So for that reason, I'm going to keep Corrin where she is, even though I think Corrin's like I said, she's not a great character. She's above Pokemon Trainer on the tier list now, which I do not fucking agree with at all. I think that character's ass. I think people are just overrating that character because top players use her well. But hey, what do I know? I'm like a 2-2er, so I forgot to put Meta Knight on this tier list. That's so funny. I think it's funnier to just leave him off. Oh my god, Meta Knight's not like a real character. He is a real character, but he's not a real character. Getting back to the tier list, Brawler does pretty good against Pokemon Trainer. I'd say it's a 50-50 for sure. If you know the counterplay to Brawler, you can definitely kind of do well against him, get some early kills. But if you don't know the counterplay to Brawler, he's just going to be hitting you with Thrupper and killing you at like 60 center stage. So definitely one of those ones you got to do your homework on. Brawler is definitely one that if you're not ready for it, you will get rolled over. But at the same time, if Brawler isn't ready for you, then he can also definitely, I don't know, because I feel like Brawler, his game plan is simple enough. Brawler players are fucking brain dead homunculi that only have one goal in mind, and that's to up tilt, up B you. So Brawler really doesn't have to switch around a whole lot to win the game, and you kind of have to play around. It's kind of difficult to play around Brawler flip kick if you're not prepared for it, so, you know, tough, but can make it happen. I wouldn't really put him in the bad tier. We're getting closer and closer to the really bad matchups tier. Like, the matchups that are really, really hard for Pokemon Trainer, so those will be more fun. I'm getting kind of tired of the yellow matchups because they're all pretty much, they're very samey. Mega Man, Pokemon Trainer doesn't really do well against projectile characters in general, and Mega Man is a projectile character, but he's also a projectile character that I've probably played against the least. So I really can't tell you a lot about Mega Man. Besides, fuck me, dude, I really can't tell you anything about playing against Mega Man. I haven't played against like an actually good Mega Man ever. So, yeah, Squirtle does okay, Charizard does okay, Ivysaur gets fucked up by Mega Man extremely bad. So, you know, that's a 66%. You can only play 2/3 of your characters. That's a D. That's not great. That's not a great score. So, yeah, Mega Man is pretty bad. Villager is a projectile character, but he sucks. So you can do a lot of, you can kind of beat up on Villager a lot if you know how to deal with him. Getting back to Villager's best move is bowling ball. Villager's best move is forward smash the bowling ball. That is going to be what's going to kill you a lot. That like off stage. So if you can play around bowling ball and play around axe, you can do good against Villager. You have a lot of tricks against Villager, like double hit of Squirtle Nair can take out both hits of Villager up B. So that's good. You can Charizard back air through Lloyd, which is very impressive against... It sucks for Villager, but it's very good for Pokemon Trainer and Charizard. Yeah. Villager would probably go in the PT Advantage tier if it wasn't for Bowling Ball. If it wasn't for Bowling Ball being able to kill you at like 40, Villager would genuinely probably go up a tier or so. Because he does have a lot of options that just don't work against Pokemon Trainer. So... mad unfortunate for Villager, but I do think he still has some good... I do think he has some good options to take out Pokemon Trainer. So it's not entirely lost. It's not entirely lost for Villager. That's why he's not in the orange or the dark orange tiers. Because he does have some good tools, but... yeah, not too great a matchup for Villager, honestly. Robin? I've played against a lot of Robin, actually. I think Robin is a very even matchup for Pokemon Trainer. Robin, you can actually duck under a lot of his projectiles as Squirtle. Like, you can just duck and then walk up and you'll dodge his neutral B. So that's very useful. A lot of Robins won't expect you to kind of G-check them and just walk through their projectile. So that's very good. His recovery is very exploitable with Ivysaur. So that's very good. The thing that's difficult about Robin is that Robin's ledge trap game is very, very strong. So if you get stuck on the ledge against Robin as Pokemon Trainer, you might be there a while. You might be there a while, buddy. And you might not make it out alive. So if you can avoid going to ledge and getting put in the fucking Pinar explosion chamber from Robin, then you'll do well against Robin, but easier said than done. Because Robin, the thing about Robin is that a lot of characters in this game, I will finish talking about Robin, though, to make this easier when I'm editing. I mean, I'm basically done talking about Robin. I feel like I said my piece. Basically, Robin has really good ledge trap, and Pokemon Trainer gets fucked up on ledge trap. But also his recovery, you can kind of exploit it to a certain degree, and I don't know. Robin does okay. They could do better, but they could do worse. About Sora, I had this, because I posted this chart to Twitter. I'm sitting like L from Death Note, because I'm kind of cold, but it's okay. Because I posted this on Twitter, and 64 replied to me, and he said he thinks Sora should go up a little bit. I think Sora wins if the Sora knows you have to fuck up Pokemon Trainer off stage. Like, if Sora just uses Thundaga, I think is the name of it. If Sora just uses Thundaga when Ivysaur is off stage, like, you instantly go up like the matchup instantly becomes better. But I think if the Sora doesn't know the win condition, then they kind of just get Pokemon trainered. They kind of just get hit with, like, the, I think if Sora doesn't know, which, I mean, you can say this about, like, anybody. Well, if they don't know the matchup, it's good. That's, like, everybody in Yellow, honestly. Everybody in Yellow, it's like if you don't know the matchup. I think if Sora doesn't get a hold of the matchup, it can fall out of Sora's hands. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. PT has issues with spells. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. Sora's have started mixing up the recovery. I think my brain is still used to Sora from, like, a couple years ago, where they would just, like, use the slow-ass up B that doesn't even have, like, a hitbox on the top, and has like hitboxes on the side, but not on the top. The Sora up B that was like the Ivysaur down air magnet. The Ivysaur down air magnet Sora up B was like not impressing me for a while, but now they will actually like mix it up with the side B, I think. So it's harder for, it's like a little bit quicker. It's not as easy to Ivysaur down B. But I think Charizard messes up Sora a lot. I think Sora dies really early to a lot of Charizard stuff. But also, yeah, PT can kind of get walled out by Sora. So maybe Sora could go... I keep forgetting I just have the actual image up on TikTok. Because TikTok shadow banned me for being on the fucking tier list maker website. Because it thought I was watching somebody's tier list video. I was not happy about that. A lot of these could go up or down a little bit, just depending on if the person knows what to do or not. Like, honestly, like, Mega Man could probably go a little lower because he's kind of tough. Sora could probably go down here now that his meta has developed a little bit. Sora could probably go down to, like, the yellow tier. Min Min could probably go down a tier. She could probably go down to bad as well. But I'm an optimist about Min Min. You know? I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy to have Min Min and fucking Villager in the same tier as how hard it is to fight this character. Maybe I should go up. Maybe I should put Villager up a tier. Maybe I should put Villager in slight PT advantage, honestly. But yeah. Sora can do it. Sora can do it. I'm still used to everybody dunking on Sora from like a year ago and saying the character's kind of trash. I'm going to zoom in on the Buttadog cam. Whee! My little fucking princess sleep mask. I'm a little princess. I need my sleep. Maybe if I put on my fucking hoodie that I'm sitting on. He is kind of trash, but sometimes he's the best character in the game for 10 seconds. Yeah, if you're like off stage without a jump, or if you're on ledge and at like a high percent, he is a very good character. He's a very good character. That's the thing about Ultimate, is that some characters are very bad, but they get to have their time in the spotlight. I honestly have no reason to keep this cowboy hat on. I just think it's going to be extremely funny when I put this up on YouTube and I just gain a cowboy hat halfway through the video for no reason. Okay, we're almost done with the tier list, though. Olimar. I don't know a lot about Olimar. Olimar kind of fell off really bad as the game went on. So... Also, the local Olimar in my scene like stopped playing, so I was not good at the game. I'm still not that good at the game, but I especially wasn't good at the game when I played against Olimar a lot. So I don't have a lot of insight to give there. Besides, I think it's like maybe slightly Olimar favored because it's hard for Pokemon Trainer to get through Pikmin. I think it's hard for Pokemon Trainer to get through Pikmin, but you can do it. Yeah, Olimar is kind of hard for PT, but Ivysaur gets to play the game, and I like playing Ivysaur, and I like playing Charizard, so I think you can make it work. I don't think it's as oppressive, near as oppressive as something like Samus. I think Olimar is near as bad as something like Samus. A lot of these matchups in, like, the yellow, there will be, like, one, maybe two Pokemon that do, like, really well. Or there'll be, like, one Pokemon that does, like, really bad, so you just don't use that one. Like, I didn't really talk about Rob. I'll have to go back and talk about Rob later. Zelda, like, Ivysaur... No, I think Squirtle does... I think Ivysaur is the one that does kind of bad against Zelda. You can kind of make it work. Fuck. I keep remembering I skipped characters. I didn't talk a lot about Greninja either. Oh, well. This will probably get like 10 views on YouTube. Who gives a fuck? The one guy waiting for me to talk about fucking waiting for me to talk about Rob and Greninja. It's gonna be freaking out. But anyways, Olimar, yeah. He's got some stuff. But also his recovery is kind of slow. His recovery is kind of also like an Ivysaur down air magnet. So Olimar's got that Ivysaur down air, magnet, recovery. So it can be kind of tough for him if he's got like a purple or so and it makes his recovery really slow. Then it's bad news for Olimar. Inkling, I don't have an inkling of what to say here. No, I'm just kidding. Inkling kind of reminds me of like a beefed up Squirtle. Inkling kind of reminds me of like a beefed up Squirtle, basically, where they have kind of like stubby limbs. They're like a brawler, you know. I guess technically they have like some projectile options, like roller is really tough to deal with if you're not prepared for it. But Inkling reminds me of like a beefed up Squirtle. I always think of Inkling as like War Turtle, basically. Shout out War Turtle, right? I do think Inkling does... I think it's even. Because, yeah, Squirtle does bad against Inkling, but you have 2 other characters to switch to. So, not bad. Inkling recovery, you can probably deal with it. To end the section on Inkling, yeah, I don't know. Inkling's definitely even. Like, I think Squirtle does bad, but Ivysaur can do really good, and Charizard probably does good. I have not played good... Yeah, Inkling is definitely even. I think Charizard kind of carries there. There's a lot of these... A lot of people disagree with me when I say Charizard is the best Pokemon trainer character. Bro, if Charizard didn't exist, fucking Pokemon trainer would be working at McDonald's, bro. Pokemon trainer would be deadass working at McDonald's if Charizard wasn't so strong. Like, that character is fucked up. That character is fucked up. Once you really realize it, like, not like maybe top 5 when you have Rage. Like, Charizard, last stock, last hit situation with Rage, maybe a top 5, top 10 character in a game with 80 characters. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. All right, we are past the characters that Pokemon Trainer fucks up really bad, the characters that Pokemon fucks up a little bit, the characters that can fuck up Pokemon Trainer, but Pokemon Trainer can also fuck up. And now we're to the characters that fuck Pokemon Trainer up really, really bad. Really, really bad. We are on to the characters that fuck up Pokemon Trainer real bad. So, Ryu and Ken. So, basically Ryu and Ken... It's tough for Pokemon Trainer because Ryu and Ken have very consistent. They have very consistent kill options. So they can get like a few hits on you, and then they can just like, I don't need to stand up for this, but I'm going to. They can be like, Shoryuken! They can fuck you up really bad. Very consistently, you can die to Ryu and Ken doing that at like 80 or 90 as Squirtle. And so it's really tough. It's really tough as Pokemon Trainer. You kind of have to really do like a Squirtle combo into getting them off stage into Ivysaur. Or you have to be like very particular with how you don't overextend, or Ryu and Ken will fuck you up. They're like very boring, but they're very consistent characters. And so it's kind of tough to kind of finagle your way around that. It's very tough to finagle your way around that a lot of the time against Ryu and Ken. You have to really kind of like have to better player your opponent to get a lead, or yeah, you have to get like some kind of... You have to switch it up. You got to pull the switch on him to get a lead is what I'm saying, basically. Okay, so Wario. Wario is fucked up to play against as Pokemon Trainer. I'm sure my opinion is like skewed because there's this Wario player I used to play like every week and they would cook me. But I practiced a lot against a Wario as well, not just playing in tournament, like playing out of tournament as well. And I think Wario does really good against Pokemon Trainer for a few reasons. One, Pokemon Trainer loves to sit in shield. Like, that is something I do a lot as Pokemon Trainer, and I've gotten a lot of wins off of just sitting in shield and people running up and hitting me and me just punishing them, and then I just go from there. But Wario has his command grab, so he can basically grab you in midair, which a lot of characters can't do. In Smash, you can only grab on the ground, but Wario has an aerial command grab. So basically what that means is you can sit in shield, which is a very good thing for Pokemon Trainer to do, and Wario can jump, and then he has a lot of really good options, because Wario can either command grab you, he can land on you with like an aerial, because his aerials are really good. He gets a lot off of landing aerials, so say he like hits you through your shield, that's really bad for you. Basically, if you sit in shield against Wario and he's jumping on you, you're losing, basically. So first of all, he has really good tools to deal with one of Pokemon Trainer's, like a really good option that Pokemon Trainer has. And second of all, Wario's back air is really, really strong. So if you're on ledge against Wario, Wario can literally back air you and kill you at like 80 as Squirtle, which is very early. It might not seem early. I mean, it's like a decently early percent to die at, but it's for a consistent kill, it's very early against Squirtle. And that's tough because Ivysaur does really bad against Wario. So basically what you want to do is rack up a lot of percent as Squirtle, and then switch to Charizard for a kill, and then try and switch back to Squirtle, because Ivysaur gets really messed up by Wario. Just because Wario moves very fast in the air, Ivysaur moves very slow in the air. Wario has like a really good forward-facing move. Ivysaur's best aerial is backward-facing, so Wario can kind of advance on Pokemon Trainer very quickly, and it's very hard for Pokemon Trainer to deal with. As well, I haven't even mentioned Wario's best tool, which is his waft, which is basically, for the uninitiated, that's it's his fart. It's actually his fart. He shits his pants. It's this waft is this move that charges up over, I believe, 2 to 3 minutes, and he has combos into it that will basically guarantee your stock. So you can't play really passive against Wario, because he'll get his waft charged. One of your best options, he has really good tools to deal with, and he can just outright kill you at like 80 as Squirtle, and even as like Charizard. He can back air you at like 100, and you're gonna be really worse for wear because of it. It's really gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt dying to Wario that early. So interesting little write-up there. I feel like I gave 3 really good reasons why Wario is tough to deal with as Pokemon Trainer. So I don't feel like I need to explain a whole lot more on what makes him so difficult to deal with as Pokemon Trainer. He's kind of chunky. He's kind of easy to combo once you get a hold of him, but he is a slippery fucker, man. Your win condition is basically like get percent as Squirtle and then hope you get lucky and catch him slipping as Charizard. So not a very consistent game plan, so kind of tough. Not great on the books. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty substantial explanation of Wario. Pretty substantial Wario explanation. Young Link is probably one of the most difficult zoners for Pokemon Trainer to deal with. The reason he's not in like the really bad tier is because I don't think his projectiles are as strong as Samus, and his recovery is also pretty easy to deal with from Young Link. Young Link can you can kind of Ivysaur down air Young Link a lot, but yeah, Young Link you can deal with his projectiles. It requires like a bit of finesse, requires a bit of skill, if you will, but yeah, it's doable. It's doable for sure against Young Link. He does really good against Ivysaur. Squirtle and Charizard do okay against Young Link. Squirtle is definitely your best bet, but of course you're going to have to switch off Squirtle at a certain point because Squirtle is very light. So, Squirtle is very light. So, yeah, not great in the long term against Young Link, but Young Link is definitely a hell of a lot easier to fight than, like, Samus, because if Young Link had Samus Charge Shot, then... If Young Link had Samus Charge Shot, he would be, like, fucked up. He would be a fucked up character. If Young Link had Charge Shot and Fire Arrow, he would be the most fucked up character to play against this Pokemon trainer. Like, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Maybe if he had the same recovery, it still wouldn't be that bad. But, yeah, shit's nutty. Shit's nutty. Young Link was, like, my worst matchup for, like, a really long time. I had a lot of trouble with Young Link. But as I got better as a player and kind of started to recognize, like, projectile patterns and just, like, player patterns in general, like, player habits, and, like, recognizing what their game plan and what their win condition is, I don't think Young Link is as bad as it used to be. I normally would put it, like, I think I used to put it, like, top 3 worst Pokemon trainer matchups, but now I'd say it's, like, top 5. I'd say it's top 5. I don't think it's that bad, honestly. It sucks, but it's doable. All right, so Kazuya... I originally had Kazuya in really bad. I had him down at the bottom on really bad. See, I had Kazuya, like, down here. I moved him up to bad just because I think, I don't know, he could go down here. He could go, he's either -1 or -2. I would not say even. Kazuya is just too strong of a character for me to put him as even. Just because Kazuya has to guess right 2 or 3 times to kill you and take your stock. The only way you're guessing right 2 or 3 times and getting a stock as Pokemon trainer is if you're fucking cracked. You gotta be fucking cracked. You gotta be fucking cracked to hit somebody like 2 or 3 times, maybe even once. The best Kazuya players will hit someone once and take the stock. Pokemon trainer cannot do that. So Pokemon trainer does have like the options to beat Kazuya. Like, Ivysaur does really well against Kazuya, but the motherfucker can literally iframe through half of your moves and just kill you for even daring to hit him. Like, when the strategy against Kazuya is just to wait for him to swing first and then you punish him, that is bad. That is bad character design, bro. That is a fucked up character. You're just waiting to punish him? What do you mean? Finishing up on Kazuya, I feel like I've spoken my piece about Kazuya, where Pokemon Trainer has good options against him. You can fuck him up off stage a lot for sure, but he's just such a good character, bro. He's got so much bullshit. He's got so many iframes on all his moves. It's really hard for me to not put him, like, in a -1 or a -2. Like, Steve, I genuinely would rather play against Steve than play against Kazuya, bro. Because at least Steve, he's doing some fuck shit. He's building a fucking Hadron particle collider in center stage. Kazuya, he just, like, hits you with the most fucking mind-numbing, boring, fucking drool on your controller combo I've ever seen in my life. And he just Wind God fists you at center stage and kills you. It's not fun. It's not fun to play. It's not fun to play against. It's not fun to watch, bro. It's not fun. I do not enjoy playing against Kazuya, but I think Pokemon Trainer does have some good stuff against him, so... I don't know. Somebody on Twitter was like, Kazuya's not that bad. It's like, bro, fucking get real. Get real. Kazuya's not that bad until you play a Kazuya, and you play like a Kazuya who's just drooling on their controller, and then they fucking beat you because they slobbered all over their fucking sticks, bro, because the character's busted. Moving on from Kazuya, because I feel like I've pretty much said what I need to say about him. Pyramithra. I would say Pyramithra. Maybe you could move Pyramithra up to bad as well. She's kind of... I would say the worst 3 are definitely Samus, Sonic, and Yoshi. Pyramithra, her issue is that she's kind of a better Pokemon trainer. Pyramithra. She's kind of just... Like I said, she's kind of just a better Pokemon trainer. She can do like the Squirtle Charizard thing where she can rack up a lot of damage as Mithra and then switch to Pyra and get a kill. And Pyra Down Air basically does what Ivysaur Down Air does, but better. Pyra Down Air is a better Ivysaur Down Air. not everyone will agree with me on that. For some reason, people won't agree with me on that. They're like, no, Ivysaur is bigger. Well, fucking no, it's not. Pyro down air is literally, they're the same size. If we're gonna argue, like, if we're really gonna get semantic about it, they're basically the same size. But Pyro down air lasts longer and is on an infinitely better character. Fucking also, Ivysaur cannot use down air fucking on stage to confirm into up smash. So anybody telling me Ivysaur down air is better, fucking put the rocks down, bro. Put the pipe down. Dare to resist, bro. Put the fucking rock pipe down, bro. Put that crack rock down. Anyways, Pyramithra, really hard for Pokemon Trainer to deal with if you're not prepared. You really have to kill them on stage. You really got to kill Pyramithra on stage, honestly. Otherwise, it's kind of on stage. You got to kill Pyramithra off stage, or it's just Jover. She'll kind of win the battle of attrition by getting like more damage and then killing you earlier. She'll do to you what Squirtle and Charizard do to low tiers, basically. Where you just kind of gap them as Squirtle and then get the kill on them as Charizard. So, but, you know, I think Pokemon Trainer maybe you have more recovery mix-ups as Pokemon Trainer, so there is that aspect of the character that's better than Pyramithra. But beyond that, man, there's not. Pyramithra's fucked up, bro. That character is so fast in the air. You can't punish fucking anything they do. Fucking Mithra is ridiculous, bro. Character's got no lag on anything. Pyra's not as bad. She kills you really early, but she's kind of slow. But her hitboxes are insane, though. It's like they fucking took a brush and they were just like, whoosh, fucking half the stage is her hitbox. Oh, no big deal. No big deal. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No big deal. No big deal. Pyramithra just fucking covers half the stage with her hitboxes. It's no big deal. But yeah, if you can kill him off stage, you can definitely get the dub against Pyramithra. Like I said, I think Pyramithra and Caseoh are probably like interchangeable here. Because I think the real big stinkers here are Samus, Sonic, and Yoshi. I guess I've finally gotten to the triumvirate, so I can finally start talking about them. Getting on to the big three, the big fucked up three down at the bottom here. I'm going to move Pyramithra so it's easier to see. So the problem with these three characters, Samus essentially, so the reason that Samus fucks up Pokemon Trainer so bad, it's just Charge Shot. So Charge Shot, Pokemon Trainer falls very slow. Like if you jump up in the air, you're going to be falling very slow as Pokemon Trainer. So Charge Shot is very tough to deal with in that context because Samus can shoot you from across the stage, and in Ultimate, its landing and shielding is very slow. And a lot of Pokemon trainers, Samus will condition you to jump, you know, by throwing out like Charge Shot, Missile, blah, 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 blah. Samus will condition you to jump or grab. Samus will condition you to jump or shield. That's her like game plan basically. And so even I think you have to play Samus's game a lot and wait for her to fuck up and then really press your advantage against her to beat Samus. Basically, without sounding like a John, without sounding like I'm just bitching, the Samus player does not have to expend near as much mental energy as the Pokemon Trainer player. And it sounds like an excuse, but you can go watch a Samus versus Pokemon Trainer set, bro, and tell me the Samus is operating on the same level of forethought as, or tell me the Pokemon Trainer is operating at the same level of forethought as Samus, bro. It's crazy the way Pokemon Trainer has to go, okay, do I shield here? Do I jump here? What do I do here? I have to think about what I did last time. I have to think, is he gonna try and punish what I did last time? Is he gonna do something different? Pokemon Trainer has this whole fucking rock, paper, scissors setup that they have to go through, and all Samus has to do is press the B button and shoot Charge Shot. And charge shot is a very good move. When you're charging it from the charging position, it's a 1 frame release. It's a 1 frame delay until the projectile becomes active. So, and ultimate has like 6-7 frames of input delay, maybe more depending on your situation. And so basically, to say charge shot is very hard to react to, and you almost do not want to be on the ground in front of charge shot ever, unless you're just prepared to shield. And if you're shielding, then Samus can grab you. So you see, the conundrum is you want to shield to get around charge shot, and then you'll basically just get grabbed. And I know this is just generic Samus stuff that I'm describing here, but the issue with Pokemon Trainer is you fall so slow, it's very hard for you to jump around a charge shot and maneuver around it if you don't have platforms to help you. Or, yeah. So that is why I think Samus is really tough. And you combine that with the fact that Samus has a really good recovery and a very good out of shield. So Samus is just a really solid character. Her strengths kind of complement. Her strengths kind of match up really hard against Pokemon Trainer's weaknesses. And so it's really tough for Pokemon Trainer to deal with a lot of Samus's stuff. But yeah, that's a lot of reasons why Samus does really good against Pokemon Trainer. Like I said, like a lot of it is just generic Samus, like rock, paper, scissors shit. But when you combine that with like Samus having a really good recovery and Pokemon Trainer is really good at edge guarding, you're not gonna be killing Samus when she recovers. And basically, to get a kill on Samus, you have to basically already have her in disadvantage state. So just getting a kill on Samus is really rough, and it's very easy for Samus to kill you with charge shot, especially when you're recovering, because of how slow Pokemon Trainer is in the air. It's really easy for Samus to shoot like a charge shot like center stage, and then it's just over for you, because you either have to stall in midair to not get hit by charge shot, and then Samus can forward air you or back air or something, or if you do charge, if you do go, try to go center, you can get hit by charge shot, which is going to put you in an even worse position, especially if you already used your jump. And also, if you go below charge shot and just go to ledge, you're now on ledge against Samus, which is very good for Samus and very bad for Pokemon Trainer. So overall, just very bad, no good stuff for Samus versus Pokemon Trainer. It's really tough for Pokemon Trainer to clutch it up. You can do it. Anything is possible. The matchup is winnable, but damn, it sucks, bro. It's not fun. It's not fun. Yeah, it's not fun. I do not have fun playing against Samus, honestly.
I think I'll leave this part out of the YouTube video, but the thing that genuinely, disillusioned me with playing competitive Smash was going to CEO and just playing the Samus who was, really good. I could tell they were good, but they weren't trying against me at all. They fucking 3-stocked me, and I was like, hey man, do you have any tips? And they were like, I don't know, play Squirtle more. And, as someone who's played that matchup, you can't just play Squirtle the whole time or you'll get fucked up. That's genuinely such terrible advice. And I was literally like, bro, I have to put in so much fucking work. I have to put in so much fucking work. I have to take notes. I have to fucking, genuinely put in the fucking work to win against Samus, and all the Samus has to do is use fucking charge shot. They don't have to change a fucking thing about how they play. That's, the most aggravating thing about the late meta of Smash, especially, playing Pokemon Trainer, is I feel like I have to try so much harder than my opponent. I have to put in so much more fucking effort, man, and it's bro, it's not, as a grown-ass man, I don't always have the time. It's not always worth it, man, to put all this fucking time into a game that doesn't have the money into it, It's man, I would love to do Smash full-time, but sometimes the money's just not there, man. It's it is kind of depressing. It is kind of depressing, but that's really something that disillusioned me with it, is I was like, dude, I'm writing fucking pages of notes on how to play against Samus, and the only thing you have to tell me is, you should play Squirtle more. No! Squirtle sucks, actually! The thing that I had to fucking figure out is I need to play Ivysaur more. I need to play Ivysaur when fucking Samus doesn't have charge shot up. And then you can fuck her up really bad. But it took me so long to realize that. And it's dude, these fucking Samus players with their fucking homunculi brains, their brains are fucking smoother than a polished dog turd, bro. They fucking aren't thinking at all, bro. These fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. Like I said, I'm taking fucking pages of notes, and these fucking brain-dead knuckle-dragging motherfuckers don't have to do anything. Pisses me off. What in tarnation? you know? It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, this game's a fucking clown show.
I've spoken my truth about Samus at this point, so I think we can move on to Sonic. Actually, I'm gonna move on to Yoshi because I feel like I have more of like a thesis statement in my head about Yoshi compared to Sonic. So Yoshi is, I talked about this a little bit earlier. Yoshi is really tough to deal with. For a few different reasons. One, Yoshi stays in the air a lot, and going in the air is kind of a gamble as Pokemon Trainer because you fall very slow as Pokemon Trainer. You have a very slow fall speed, but what you can gain from jumping is you can gain a lot, but you can lose a lot from jumping. And Yoshi's very fast in the air. I've said this a few times. Characters that are very fast in the air are very tough for Pokemon Trainer to deal with because Pokemon Trainer is very slow in the air and not extremely fast on the ground either. So that's where it's really difficult with Yoshi is Yoshi has a lot of really good combos. So Yoshi can start combos from the air or on the ground. So Yoshi has a lot of good combo starters. Another thing, like I mentioned, Yoshi, it's very hard to edge guard Yoshi because his double jump armor, you have to get him until you can't break Yoshi's double jump armor until you've already been whooping his ass, basically. So you can't get like an early gimp on him or anything. You can't really like cheese Yoshi in that capacity. But one thing, I'd say the thing that makes Yoshi very, very difficult to deal with as Pokemon Trainer is, particularly in last stock situations, Yoshi can throw out lots of moves that will lead to kills for no risk at all. Like, the risk reward is skewed substantially in Yoshi's favor in neutral throughout the whole matchup. Because Yoshi can throw out like an up tilt, an F tilt, and then those moves don't last long enough to where you can see it, react to it, and then punish him for it. But the up tilt and the F tilt, those are moves that if Yoshi hits you with them, you will die. You will lose the game. So it leads to the situation where last stock, last hit, Yoshi can throw out a ton of moves that are game enders, and you basically just gotta pray you get lucky, bro. You guys, like, because at that point you'll most likely be playing Charizard or Yoshi, or Charizard or Ivysaur, and which I stick to Charizard in those situations. So you basically have to either throw out a move in neutral and get lucky off of like a stray hit, or you've got to really be locked into Yoshi and get a read on him last stock. But Yoshi, on the other hand, can throw out just a lot of stuff without a lot of forethought and kind of get away with it. But like, you throw out a Charizard back air and Yoshi can react to that. He can, nair you. You throw out like an F tilt. F tilt's not as slow, so you can maybe get away with throwing out like some Charizard F tilts and stuff. But yeah, Yoshi is a really tough matchup just because you're not killing him early, you're not edge guarding him early. Yoshi's really fast, his combos are really strong. He's hard to catch. You can genuinely try to punish Yoshi for something. Like, you can try to jump and punish Yoshi for something, and he can maneuver around you trying to jump. He's so fast, he can basically do drive-bys on you and then skirt away before you can do anything. That's how I would explain it, honestly. Like I said, Yoshi can punish you for overextending a lot. Plus, Yoshi's just a generally strong character, so that's what makes that's what puts Yoshi in the evil three for me, the triumvirate, if you will, is that ability to throw out moves for free, basically. To throw out moves for free, like last stock situation, that is very fucking tough to deal with. It's not fun at all. Is there like a certain time or situation you use these Pokemon for? So on paper, you want to use Squirtle at low percents, Ivysaur at medium percents, and then Charizard at high percents, because Charizard is a heavy character, so he'll live longer. Excuse me. But there's certain situations where I don't think that's the case, because Charizard, to put it in layman's terms, Charizard has a lot of moves. Basically, so to close out stocks, to get like kills on people. Squirtle doesn't have very many options. That's Squirtle's biggest issue, is that he's very limited in how he can kill you. Ivysaur has a lot of ways that they can kill you, but it's all like a lot of it is very specific, like percent based setups. Like, oh, you hit your forward air, you hit your forward aerial at this percent, and you hit your forward aerial at like 70, and you can kill them with this move if they don't directional influence the right way. So Ivysaur is really good for that. Ivysaur is very good for situational kill setups where you catch someone like off stage or you catch them at a certain percent. Ivysaur is very good for that, but Charizard is the best for when you two are just running around the stage and trying to hit each other. Charizard has a lot of very big moves that can catch people slipping while you're both on stage. Charizard is, like the heavyweight, so he has a lot of fuck huge moves that he can catch you slipping with, basically. So that's where I sometimes will stick to Charizard instead of Ivysaur at like a mid percent. If I think Charizard can clutch it out with one of his fucked up big fuck huge moves, or if I just don't think Ivysaur does well in the matchup. So yeah, that's like how I would explain it in like layman's terms, I guess, is yeah, you can kind of just play what Pokemon whenever, but generally stick to Squirtle at low percents, Ivysaur at medium percents, and then Charizard at high percents. But honestly, sometimes like I'll be playing Squirtle, I'll get someone to like 120%, I'll just switch to Charizard, kill him, and then switch back, honestly. So yeah, that's what I like about Pokemon Trainer. You can kind of, oh my god, that was my elbow. You can kind of figure out what you want to do when you want to do it. There's a lot of freedom in that, in picking what character you want to play. All right, we're on the last guy. We're on Sonic now. I forgot about Meta Knight. I realized I forgot about Meta Knight. He's fucking mid, probably. He's mid, but can make it happen. I've never played against like a very good Meta Knight, so he probably does well like gimping Pokemon Trainer, but he's pretty light, so he probably dies pretty early. But that's all I'm going to say about Meta Knight, because I really don't know a lot about Meta Knight. Sorry to any Meta Knight fans who watched this far in the video and didn't get a lot of words on them. Same with Rob. Not really with Rob. I don't think I went over Rob a whole lot, but Rob, basically your win condition against Rob is to punish neutral air. If you can do that, you're pretty much golden. All your Pokemon Trainer stuff will work against Rob. You can do Nair, Vine Whip as Ivysaur. You can hit him with a Cheeky Bear as Charizard. I used to play Rob before I played Pokemon Trainer, so I kind of have like a baseline idea of what a mid Rob plays like. So I feel like if you can maneuver around Nair, if you can punish Nair, you can win. That's the Rob matchup against Pokemon Trainer. But okay, gonna move on to Sonic, and then we'll be done with the tier list video. I know this shit is probably running pretty long by now. So Sonic is a really bad matchup for Pokemon Trainer, if you couldn't tell. And basically the thing that makes it really bad is essentially Sonic can spin dash from across the stage, and there's not a lot you can do about it because he's so fast that just with Ultimate's delay and just human reaction time in general, fucking human reaction time in general makes it really hard to deal with Sonic as Pokemon Trainer. Yeah, Sonic is fucked up against Pokemon Trainer because all of Sonic's stuff works, basically. Sonic gets to do his whole fucking merry-go-round, fuck me, fuck you, full of shit against Pokemon Trainer, and it's really hard for Pokemon Trainer to get like the very consistent Pokemon Trainer stuff that you'd be getting against other characters. Like, you're not really going to be killing Sonic like off stage with Ivysaur. It's hard to catch him as Squirtle. He's pretty fast. He won't be getting caught up in like a lot of Squirtle combos. So Sonic is going to be spin dashing so much that you're not going to be getting a lot of like forward tilts, a lot of grabs as Squirtle. He can maneuver, like if you Razor Leaf as Ivysaur, he's so fucking fast, he can be on top of you like before you're even done using the Razor Leaf, basically. So yeah, Sonic is just really good against Pokemon Trainer. His forward air and his back air are really good at calling you out off stage as well. Like if you're recovering, like I've said like a million times, Pokemon Trainer can be pretty slow in the air if you're not fast falling. So, and Sonics will generally know. I mean, Sonic wants to forward air you and back air you off the side anyways. So that's pretty unfortunate for Pokemon Trainer. It's not great. Really not good for Pokemon Trainer. Your best bet is honestly like you have to resort to using Squirtle up B a lot in neutral, because it covers the space that Sonic is in a lot, and he can punish you really bad for that. Another thing that's difficult with Sonic is like just the battle of attrition. Like Sonic will hit you and he'll hit you for like 40 or 50, and he'll reset to neutral, and it's kind of tough to get a combo with that much percent as Pokemon Trainer. Like he's going to be doing a lot more damage than you, and he's also probably going to be killing you very early. So Sonic is rough. Sonic is really rough. That's why he's in the top 3, is because like just trying to think of strong options that Pokemon Trainer has against him, you don't really have strong options against Sonic as Pokemon Trainer. You're kind of in a tough spot. You can Bullet Seed when he's spin dashing and you'll go right into his fucking spin dash, but he can also just cancel. That'll work like one time. And then he'll just cancel the spin dash and forward smash you. So, yeah. Sonic is going to be in my bottom 3 for that reason, because he's very hard to deal with. The really bad, you don't have a lot of great options. Bad is, this is, slight edge one way or the other. This is definite advantage, but you can still make it happen. And this is really bad, is consider changing characters. The really bad tier is consider getting a secondary. If you have to play these characters habitually, you either got to put in the fucking work. You either got to put in the work to beat these 3, or you either got to put in the work or you got to give up. Yeah, that's like the best way. That's the best way I would put it, honestly. Yeah, I suppose that's it. Thank you for watching this far in the YouTube video. If you watched this far, I'm guessing a lot of people are going to put this on when they go to sleep. So if you're resetting the video so you can have it ad-free before you go to bed, hello, thank you for watching my video. I appreciate that watch time, even if, well, I don't have ads anyway, so I don't go fuck. A tip of the hat to you for watching my way too long Pokemon Trainer matchup chart. If you sat through it on stream, thank you as well, by the way. I'll probably put up my stream bullshit, my stream, Lpearly on Twitch, TikTok, la 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 la, shit on screen. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like the video, rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe. Sub to me on TikTok, sub to me on Twitch, sub to me on YouTube. I guess you're already watching on YouTube, so that doesn't quite matter. But anyways, appreciate you watching. Got to do finger pistols with my Lpearly cowboy hat. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Different desserts, but they both go to bed hungry, and that's what really matters. Well, guess we're not so different after all. Ladybird! Becky! Welcome to the neighborhood,
Oh my god, bro. This fucking matchup chart took forever. This shit took forever.